friends, especially those students outside Ernakulam. Without any further ado, let us move on to the inaugural function. Let me invite the chairman of the Ernakulam branch of SICASA of ICAI, CA Salim Abdul Rashid, to escort our chief guest for the day, CA J. Chera, Chairman of Board of Studies Academics, onto the stage. Thank you, guests. I request everyone to rise for the ICAI motto song.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यधिकश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Please be seated. I now invite the chairman of the Ernakulam branch of SICASA, CA Salim Abdul Rashid, for his welcome address.
Respected guest of honor, chief guests, fellow committee members and dear students, good morning to all. After a long journey of energetic efforts and hectic schedules, we are here on this platform of CA Students Conference 2021, namely Navada. During the time of pandemic, we could come with manifold initiatives such as Meet a Chartered Accountants series and Entrepreneurs Meet to boost up and enrich the students with the right mixers of knowledge and insights. We could create a plethora of platform to lift the soft skills of CA students to greater level. Besides the academic sessions and the study circles, the cultural programs like ENGO 2021, the RJ Hunt and the Toastmastering have eminently carried out, and the feedback received is remarkable. And we are able to produce around 75 students leaders in this year. Dear students, above all those opportunities, I would advise that this is the most fruitful platform where you can challenge yourself and prove to the brave ones. Today, this platform is highly adorned with the inspirational personalities of our age. I will request each one of you to reap the benefit out of their knowledge. We, the accounting professionals, as well as the aspirants of the prestigious professions, are well aware of the fact that this time of December is a peak time for our compliance procedure. Well, this speaks out why we are lesser in numbers today. But today, my dear students, I assure you that you are going to benefit from this event because besides the statutory compliances, the CA students being the budding professionals of tomorrow. You are expecting to grow with great professional and personal development. The professional meets like CA Student Conference enhance the scope to widen your personal as well as professional growth. Hence, I use this platform to congratulate you to put in effort to add to your development and also networking with the other region of the students. This year, we have opted an enlightening theme of Navada, which means to bring innovation. After all, our profession is great platform to innovate and growth. I hereby urge each one of you to dream big, believing in yourself and achieve your dreams with the accurate proportion of smart work and confidence. Having said about the theme, I would like to proceed with the function which has been vested on me. Today, we have a great personality who have tremendous knowledge and experience, a person who have been a true guide to keep us on track. We have been proudly nurtured under your 27 years long service in the institute activities from branch, region level and central council level. Indeed, you have taught us numerous professionals to be eminent and ethical in their career. We extend heartfelt gratitude for your spectacular leadership, sir. And I hereby welcome CA Babu Abraham Kallivayal, sir. Welcome, sir. Now we have the most respected and young chairman who has always been a backbone, who took initiative to better the path of member and student community. CA Ranjit Varia sir has been a great dynamic leader to motivate us and to build hope in our initiative that each step we take will be guided accurately in order to benefit the CA students community. Despite being the younger chairman of the branch, we had a lot of life lessons from you, sir. And to this event, we extend our warm welcome. Welcome you, sir. At this auspicious event, we have a distinguished person among us, the guest of honor, a great scholar, multi-talented, and the most right person whose efforts to improve the brand of our August Institute are commendable. CA Jaichara sir has always encouraged us to move with a higher zeal and enthusiasm and has led us to the right path of career growth. It is truly an honor to hear from your exuberant words. On behalf of SICASA and our management committee, I extend our warm welcome, Jaichara sir. Now we have the great brother of our profession, an anytime approachable personality who gives consistent support and aid to the execute our program. A mentor who has made sincere effort to enlighten his students with efficient and resourceful sessions. Indeed, he adds life to what he does. I welcome CA Jomon K. George to this event. Welcome, sir. I welcome our past chairman, Vivek sir, and Veeramani sir, and the Ernakulam branch committee members who have always urged to us to maintain the class and quality of our profession. A group of members who took appropriate stand to move on. CA Roy sir, CA Jose sir, CA Alan Varghese, and CA Deepa madam and Srinivasan sir. Our humble welcome to each one of you, dear committee members. I hereby use this stage to welcome the participants who have come forward to discover the might remaining inside. Welcome, dear commentators. Let's explore what you have got from us. Just as importantly, I welcome the secretary, the vice chairman, the committee members of SICASA, the viewers, the students and staff who have assisted us to bring the event into reality. I welcome everyone. I wish you all the very best and have quality time with SICASA. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words. Now I invite the chief guest to light the traditional lamp. I also request all the dignitaries on the dais to join. Let me take this opportunity to invite the chairman of the Ernakulam branch of ICAI, our heart, C. Ranjit Warrior, sir, for his address.
Very, very good morning to all of you. Very respected Board of Studies Chairman and our esteemed Chief Guest for this conference 2021, Navada, Jai Chera sir. Our very own Central Council member, representation in the Central Council, our voice from Kerala, our very esteemed guest of honor, C.A. Babu Ibrahim Kallivel sir. Immediate past SIRC Chairman and our member at SIRC, C.A. Jomon sir. SICASA Chairman, C.A. Salim Rashid. The office bearers of SICASA, Shimi and Krishna Gopan and others. my respected office bearers at Ernakulam branch, very respected senior members, students. Very, very happy and proud that Ernakulam branch could yet again have got this good opportunity to host another national conference for chartered accountant students. Very, very happy that, most importantly, that we've been blessed with this great opportunity to host our very own Jayachara sir. As all of us know that the kind of passion that he has for youngsters, the passion that he has for students especially, is truly the most contributive factor, if I can say, that his presence at the Central Council would truly be missed in the coming years to come. For the kind of contributions that he has given, for the good interest of our members, for our students, is truly commendable, sir. We are really happy and glad that we could have Jayachara sir as our esteemed chief guest and also to present a paper later on for this conference today. As all of us know, Ernakulam branch, or probably for the given point of time, the lean crowd that we have today is obviously for the tax filing times. But nonetheless, really grateful to each one of you students out here who could spend some time and could probably also steal away some time from your office, requesting your principals to come and join us for the conference today. Truly appreciate each one of you. Beyond your academics that you undergo as a CA student, the kind of bonding, the kind of fellowship, the kind of friendship that you all develop over these 3.5 years. Trust me, once you're all a proud chartered accountant in a couple of years' time from now, that the most important, the most monumental thing that you would be having it in your mind very, very dearly is going to be the good days of your articleship, is going to be the good days of as being a CA student. Cherish each one of it. Of course, life is not easy, especially with this CA course, but trust me, once you pass the river or once you cross the river, it's a great time that you're going to have being proud chartered accountants. Wishing each one of you all the very best. Enjoy the moment, have great time at the conference, interact with each one another, interact with the student speakers, interact with the session chairman. It's going to be a great opportunity for each one of you. Make utmost use of it. Wishing the conference all the very best and the students as well. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Jai Hind, Jai ICAI.
Thank you so much, sir, for your soulful words. Now, I invite the dexterous, ever-couraging, and effervescent past chairman and member of the Southern India Regional Council of ICAI, CA Jomon K. George, for his address. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all of you. The chairman of SICASA, my dear friend Salim, the chairman of the branch, C. Ranjit Warrior, our own Central Council member, C. Babu Abraham Kallivalil, is also former chairman of Border Studies, and a very special guest. How do I call him a guest? Because he has been very regularly visiting all our Kerala events and adding a lot of value. C. Jay Chera, the Honorable Chairman of the Border Studies of ICAI, Shaimi Shaji, other office bearers of the SICASA, very respected Veeramani sir, and past chairman of the branch, Vivek, other student speakers, and my dear friends. Extremely delighted to be with you this fine morning and to be part of this inaugural session of the two-day national conference organized by the Border Studies across the country to interact with the students, to showcase the talent of our students, to bring about a lot of networking, and so ably hosted by the Ernakulam SICAS under the leadership of Salim. My compliments to the entire team who has made these things happen. We are hoping that more students would join, because the kind of sessions which have been lined up and the speakers who have been picked up are so that I can say that the best in class, and topics are of great such contemporary relevance from an academic point of view as well as from a practice perspective. So therefore, I am sure that you would probably, during the break time, become brand ambassadors of the event, sending messages to your students and would tell them that you're going to miss out on many things. Therefore, by afternoon, or probably from the first technical session onwards, I'm hoping that more students would and should join. Well, about the theme of the conference, Navada is dream. What is life without dreams? And believe, having self-confidence in moving forward. We may slip, but then we get up and then stand up, then walk, and then run. And then with that, there is no doubt that you would achieve your goals. You would accomplish, what you really want to do in your life as a CA student and even beyond. And therefore, that is something which is very, very carefully chosen. And I'm sure that the student deliberations will bring in a lot of inputs, a lot of new insights for you. I would always say that, with this new insights will help you scale new heights in your career. I wish every one of you all the very best. And I would also like to congratulate the student speakers who have taken up the challenge and then taken the trouble of traveling from across the country and for coming up here and being here for 2 days. In the evenings, enjoy the Kerala hospitality. For those who are outside the state, we are God's own country. Enjoy the hospitality, go for a boat ride, and have a great time in Cochin. So wish the program all the very big success it so richly deserves. Let me conclude once again thanking Salim and the team for giving me this opportunity of offering felicitations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your ever-inspiring words. As the guest of honor, we have an eminent personality who is a Central Council member, past chairman of the BOS of ICAI, CA Babu Ibrahim Kallivel. He's an inspiration for all CA students all over the country. Our branch, the Ernakulam branch of SIRC of ICAI and the Ernakulam branch of Sikasa of ICAI, under his leadership when he was the chairman for his address. Over to you, sir.
Distinguished chief guest of this Board of Studies Students' Conference at Cochin, and my very dear friend in the council, C.A. Chera. In fact, both of us entered the council together, and both of us are exiting the council also together after 9 long years of service to the profession and the members. In fact, Jai is considered to be the diamond in the council from the city of diamonds, the Surat. Surat is well known for diamonds and textiles. And he is also well known in the council for his out-of-the-box thinking. You bring any agenda before the council, and he had an opinion on that. And one of the most energetic, dynamic council member who has made his mark in whatever he has done. And beyond that, he's a very proclaimed academician who would have produced at least 6,000 chartered accountants by now as a teacher. And while entering the council, he left his teaching because council membership is almost a full-time. Yeah. Welcome to the star of the South, my very eminent colleague in the Apex Council of the Institute, C.A. M.P. Vijay Kumarji. And, leaving teaching, especially one who has got a passion to that, is not an easy thing. But probably what attracted me the most about Jai is he has got a penthouse in the city of Surat. He has got a villa in the city of Surat. Whenever I went to the city of Surat, I have visited because of Jai a number of times. This is one city I never stayed in a hotel because he gave me multiple options where I should stay. And the beauty is, he still lives in his ancestral house because his mother is more comfortable to live in that ancestral house. Therefore, all this luxurious villas and penthouses are actually locked up. Why I am saying you is, probably many of us may not believe this, many of us may not do this, but see the kind of love and affection to the mother which brought him up to what he is today. For my dear students, he is a role model for many. I will only say that please don't forget the steps you have climbed. Therefore, I'm sure JY exiting the council is going to be a huge loss to the council and the profession, because the council of the institute decides the destiny and the direction of the profession and the students. And as a chairman of the Board of Studies, he has done a wonderful job. Probably today's institute study material is considered to be the one of the best. Even I have certain doubts on basics. I go back to the study material and see how it is being clarified. Therefore, Jaibai, I am personally thankful to you for joining here for this inaugural ceremony as a chief guest. Thank you very much and he's also joined by his dear daughter, Palak. And Palak is here on her own merit. She has been selected as a speaker for student paper presenter for this event. And I'm sure she will excel better than his father. And her sibling, Ria, also is, I'm sure, is entering to this line, because at 11 she has chosen commerce as her specialization. Therefore, Palak, all the very best to you, and all my dear speakers who have come from various parts of the country. And I'm sure you we will have a great time. And the chairman of the SICASA, Salim, who has toiled his midnight oil to make this event quite successful, and chairman of the branch, Ranjit Warrior, I think he is in the midst of two programs. 3rd of January, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is privileged to host the Vice President of India, who will be laying down the foundation stone for our new building in a very, very colorful ceremony. Therefore, actually, he is, I know, you can see the tension on his face while sitting here. My very eminent colleague in the Regional Council and the past chairman of the Southern India Regional Council, C.A. Jomon K. George, and Secretary of the SICASA, Shaimi, and the Vice Chairman, Krishna Goban, and the MC's desk. I'm very impressed because me and Chairman left the branch around 11 o'clock in the night yesterday. And all this team, SICASA, were all there, Purnentu and Rajit, who is managing the MC's desk. All of them were very active in filling the delegate kit for the day, and I think this is what makes you as different. My dear friends, all of us study the same study material. All of us pass the same examination. But all of us doesn't attain the same level of success. Our chartered accountancy is only a stepping stone for you. What makes you different is what all these young friends are doing. this is all a kind of exposure which you are getting. Becoming a speaker at this conference wasn't very difficult if you are dreamt for that. Some of you never wanted to be a speaker on today's event. That's the reason. It is not because of that you didn't have the capability, but you never wanted to be like that. Therefore, dear friends, success is one area there is absolutely no reservation. And success doesn't come just like that. It comes to those who desire for it. And if you desire for that, then rest of the things will get in place. Believe me, that's why, see, some of your friends from other parts of the country are here. Therefore, if you want to be successful in life, the only secret is dream big, work towards that, and undoubtedly, there is no substitute for hard work. Today's students are much more smarter than our generation. But despite that, I find the failure rate is more. Why? Probably, I would find there are two reasons for that. One is you refuse to go into the depth of the things. Very, very peripheral or a casual approach to many things. That will not take you to anywhere. Then another thing about I notice with the new generation is lack of patience. You have no patience. And because of that, you cannot concentrate on anything. While you are before the study material, there is a beep sound. I should know whether it is Neha. What's yours? Therefore, you and me have, and the Prime Minister Modi ji has only 24 hours in a day. If Modi ji is able to do greater things than all of us, it is not because of that he has got a bonus time. He has been able to prioritize his time. Therefore, my dear students, if you are able to prioritize what you wanted to do, you will get time for everything what you want. Therefore, when you are studying, you do only study. When you want to socialize, you do socialize. When you want to enjoy, you enjoy. But don't mix many things together. That may not help you to achieve the level of success which you wanted. And as Board of Studies, I am sure the chairman is going to. This course is built upon 4 pillars. One is academics. Naturally, I think your study material is your Bible. And academically, this course is one of the best. Our study material is one of the best. If you are able to go through the study material, I think you will not be able to fail in this examination. I think all the 9 years I've been part of the examination system. I can assure you one thing, what we ensure that for every question there is an answer in the study material. Then second pillar is a practical training. That what makes us different from many other courses in the financial field. It's a blend of practical training and academic education. Today, as a student, not only you have learned the taxation, but you also know how to file an income tax return, which many others doesn't know. You know how to take a DIN, how to upload into the MCA website. Therefore, that makes, and this is what is a cutting edge. The practical training is a cutting edge for all of us. Therefore, even if you become a chartered accountant minus practical training, believe me, you will not be successful in life or successful in the profession. Therefore, this 3 years is a golden opportunity for you. And the third pillar is your GMCS. When we are all students, we never had this opportunity. And communication, especially the oral communication, is considered to be one of the major handicaps for our professionals. And the fourth pillar is the technology training. Today is the era of technology. And I think the way we do the audit is completely getting changed. Probably when we all studied, we have been taught about the test checking. Today, there are very robust software which will give you 100% vouching. Then why should I resort to test check? And it will give all red flags. Only on those red flags only you need to see what is wrong or whether anything can go wrong. Therefore, I am sure if you are able to do, why we should have a lampshade for a bulb? With the lampshade or without the lampshade, the bulb will emit the same level of energy. Therefore, my clarion call to all my dear friends sitting here is put a lampshade to your life. And get focused on what you wanted to do in life or what you wanted to achieve in life. If you are able to do that, I will conclude with what Saint Francis Assisi has told to his disciples. Start doing what is necessary. If you see, look back, half the things what we are doing today may not be necessary. And more important is that half the things what is necessary I am not doing. And he said, then start doing what is possible. Soon you will realize that what is happening is impossible. Therefore, some of you may be thinking that qualifying this examination may not be possible. But dream for that. I am sure you'll all come out in flying colors. May God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those inspiring words. It indeed meets the justice for the word, inspiring. Now, our chief guest for the day, we have someone whose name is familiar across the sea of fraternity in the country. A Central Council member and the incumbent Honorable Chairman of Board of Studies Academic of ICAI, C.A. Jayachera. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you, sir, for the inaugural address.
A very good morning to all of you. My council colleague, CA Babu Abraham Kallivalji, my another colleague in absentia, CA MP Vijay Kumar, a good friend of mine, past chairman SIRC from your own city, CA Jomon George, the dynamic chairman of Ernakulam branch, CA Ranjit Warrior, and his entire team, CA Salim A, the chairman, Ernakulam Sikasa, and the entire Sikasa team, Ms. Shini Saji, Galaxy of past chairman, learned paper presenters, and my dear student friends. Once again, a very good morning. Well, first of all, let me compliment Ernakulam branch and Ernakulam Sikasa. I have been associated with this particular branch thanks to Babu Bhai for more than a decade. I can say that if a particular state which I have visited in the last decade, the most after Delhi, because Delhi you have to keep on being every week, and it has been Kerala. I have visited this place highest number of times, probably much more than any of the branches of my own region. And I have found this place wonderful. Well, so compliments once again. I have seen how the activities for members and students are organized by Ernakulam branch and Ernakulam Sikasa, and they are doing wonderfully well under the leadership of my very good friend Ranjit Warrior. This is fortunately a branch where I can make out the entire managing committee members with their names. I can talk and I'm in touch with them. So congratulations and compliments. Well, regarding Babu sir, I am not sure when I'm going to get an opportunity officially to speak about him. I'm laying down my office in this February. MPV sir is there and he will agree. Babu Bhai is one of the best council members I have ever seen. And not only a council member, a wonderful friend whom I would like to be in touch with, means touch throughout my life. Well, student friends, you know Babu Bhai as a council member, but let me add some few things, what he has done for you. The new syllabus, when it was being designed, he had a lion's share in that. He was the Board of Studies chairman at that point of time, and he had made different groups subject-wise. I had been a part of his team, and subject-wise, each and everything was so meticulously planned. MPV sir will definitely agree. I have not done survey in South, but in the western part of India, with this new syllabus, I am sure Babu Bhai also might not be aware of this fact, that the average pay package of chartered accountants have increased by 250%. 250% is not a small number. And I am not talking about the highest package, right? That is not a comparable figure. Average is a better figure you students can understand with the new syllabus, which actually was conceptualized and designed and developed under the leadership of Babu Bhai. The average pay package of chartered accountants has increased by 250%. So you all are the beneficiaries. I wish you all take benefits, right? You all are the beneficiaries. Another important thing is that with the new syllabus, employability of chartered accountants have gone up. Unfortunately, because of this COVID period, there have been some challenges. Otherwise, employability, the percentage of people getting employment through campus has gone up with the new syllabus. One more important thing that is doing for you is next week only, that is the new premises, right? That is going to be the premises for you to be used in future, which will help you in better activities for students, for members. And I'm sure it was as good as swimming across the current if Babu Bhai would not have been there. And of course, the support of Ranjit Warrior and his entire team. I think I had interacted with the chairman at least a dozen times with the chairman himself. With Babu Bhai, every time I had interacted, it is only and only thanks to him. I would have been very happy if I would have been addressing the members and tell this fact, because what happens, when we come from outside, MPV sir, you will also agree. When you go to other cities, then you get a different treatment, but within your city, you are taken for granted at times. So that might happen in Babu Bhai. So it is very important. I actually want each and every student and each and every member here to know what he has done for you, right? What he has done for you, the premises, it's something wonderful. I have seen, of course, you might not be touched with that, but what he has done with PDC, right? Bank audit and all these things, I'm not discussing here. On ESC, that is Expert Advisory Committee. And one more committee where I learned a lot under him was Public Service, the Chartered Accountant Public Service Committee. Friends, I'll tell you, the President ICAI from time to time have made a statement, for this committee we have only one chairman. All other people can change, but chairman can only be Babu Bhai. Last year I was the vice chairman. I am not continuing this time. I would have been happy if I would have continued, but I was very clearly told that in any case, chairman has to be Babu Bhai only. So this is the council member from your own city, Babu Bhai. Of course, sitting with you is my another council colleague. Babu Bhai said Star of South. I don't agree with him. He's Star of India. And when it comes to IFRS, when it comes to Ind AS, when it comes to accounting standard, when it comes to the knowledge of accounting and auditing, I think He means, what do I say? He is a legend. It's not about India. If he says, the world has to accept. I can also say that I am also following him. I also read his books and I learn a lot of things from him. Well, a very good friend of mine, Jomon, is sitting here. Another very dynamic person from this place. Well, I'll very quickly now come to this conference. While Babu was telling about this fact that the number of students have reduced, well, compliments to all of you. It is not the number of students, it is the quality of students which matter. Those who have chosen to come in this conference, they are the people who understand the quality. So, you can even have a good applause for yourself. Now, why these conferences? Why this conference? I'll put it in a very different way. Day before yesterday, I watched a movie after 2 years, 83. And definitely that movie deserves, because that is also about the heroes of India, 1983 World Cup. And in that, of course, I have seen the World Cup matches number of times. This movie was just a revision. And in that, there were two turning points. One was the match against Zimbabwe, where the Indian captain, after 5 wickets for 17, made 175 not out. Now, why I'm trying to tell that? MPV Sir Kapil Dev, the then captain, was basically a bowler. He is an all-rounder, a great man, but basically he was a bowler. Right? He was a strong pillar for bowling side. But just look at it. It was because of his batting, 175 not out, you could enter into semi-finals and finals. And then in finals it is said that the turning point was the catch he had taken off Vivian Richards, Sir Vivian Richards. Right? That shows his fielding aspects. So, you don't only become an all-rounder because of one thing, that is bowling. Batting and fielding makes you a complete man. Similarly, you do not become a wonderful chartered accountant just because you know income tax and audit and GST. These are the technical subjects and you have to be excellent in that. No compromise. If you have chosen direct taxes, you have to be wonderful in that. If you have chosen international tax, you have to be excellent in that. Core competence, you cannot compromise. You cannot compromise on that. That's very important. But along with that, some other skills are required. And here, I feel chartered accountancy students have to put in more efforts. And what are they? This is what you get in these conferences, right? The communication skills, the presentation skills, and of course, all those people who have been a part of this organizing team building skills, delegation, coordination skills, right? From these things, and of course, building network. Once again, MPB sir and Babu Bhai will agree. These students who are sitting today, when they are exchanging the numbers, right, the type of networking they can have is far better than what we can have. Because the friends you make during your student days are the friends forever. Thereafter, you get only selected people in your life. So all these things, the conferences provide you. This is a wonderful opportunity, right? What CA students require along with the technical skills is vision, leadership skills, understanding of technology. You don't have to be excellent in technology, but understanding of technology, how you are going to leverage, right, technology. Let me put it other way. You have heard about the name Hardas Sandhu. You have heard about the name. How many of you have heard? Well, honestly, I Googled and just found it now. I did not remember the name. Now, why Hardas Sandhu? Why have you heard about her? She became Miss Universe, right? She became Miss Universe. Now the question is, why she went up to Miss Universe? Maybe because she got the opportunity to become Miss India or something like that, right? Maybe she is from whatever state, I am not very sure, I have not gone into that. But she might have got an opportunity at a city level. She might have got the platform. Then the next platform at the state level. Then the next platform at the national level, right? And then universe. So this is the platform we are providing you, right? She was provided some platform and that's why she could go up to becoming Miss Universe. Maybe now many of us know her name and who knows, she may be a part of Bollywood in the years to come and a new story might start. But what I'm trying to say is, providing the platform. If you had not provided the basic platform like today, IPL provides wonderful platforms to young cricketers in India. right? Otherwise, it was very difficult to get into Team India. Very difficult. Now, because of IPL, you are getting the platforms, and these programs are the platforms. These programs are the platforms where you come here as speakers. And, you know, when I speak, maybe you are not motivated. It's fine. But you should be motivated when your friend, your colleague, a student speaks here. See, we are very much used to it. It's our daily routine, speaking at different forums, right? But let us understand, when a student comes here and speak, you have to be motivated. If today he is here, next time I have to be there. That is what it should be. You have to observe how things are being introduced, how the vote of thanks is given, how the person speaks, what are the do's, what are the don'ts. This is what is the purpose of this conference. Well, the theme has been selected very wonderfully. Navada, that is about dream, believe, and achieve. See, unless you have big dreams, see, dreams should be very big. In management terms, it is said that it should be like BHAG. BHAG is B-H-A-G. Big, hairy, audacious goals. That is the term. Very big dreams, right? Very, very big dreams. If your dream is only to become a chartered accountant, it's a very small dream. Your dream should be being such a chartered accountant that tomorrow, if there is a conference in Chandigarh and there is a particular topic, then people have to say that, no, this gentleman from Ernakulam is required. For instance, today, if you think about accounting standard Indian, immediately MPV sir comes in our mind, there is no option. Similarly, you should have such type of dream. Your dream should be having offices in 5 different states, and why not 5 countries? And believe me, everything starts with a dream. Today what I talk, you might feel it is theoretical, but believe me, it is not so. I also started with a bicycle. When I became a chartered accountant, right, I was very much I was a person with a bicycle, but I dreamt about it, right? So dream, believe, and believe also, once again, I'll draw it from the cricket match. Like Krishnamachari Shrikant from Chennai, one of my favorites, a very entertaining player. He very rightly said that the Indian captain, pagal hai. In his words, he said, pagal hai. He's mad that he thought with this baby team we'll get the World Cup, right? But the belief of the captain, he said, that was the only reason why India won. So believing yourself, that is very important. Why should you have any doubt whether I'll pass in the exam or not? Why should you even think about it? Paper should not be tough. Paper should be easy. No, nothing. Whatever may be the papers, whatever may be the passing percentage, I am sure about it. I'll put in my efforts properly and I'm going to clear and I'm going to be a wonderful chartered accountant. So that should be your belief. And if you have that, I'm sure you're going to achieve a lot in your life. My best wishes to you, and thanks to the branch for providing this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those enlightening words. Let me take this opportunity to invite our chief guest for the day, Sia Jaya Chera, to present a trophy to our pride and extraordinary student, Ms. Begum Shabnam Shahjahan, for winning the first prize at national level elocution competition held as the part of CA Students Talent Search held at Odisha. She also won the second prize for elocution competition conducted by the South Asian Federation of Accountants, SAFA, after her achievement at national level. This indeed deserves a huge round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I invite the Secretary of Ernakulam branch of Sikasa of ICAI, Ms. Shimi Shaji, for the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, committee members of the branch, Sikasa committee members, staff, and my fellow students. I have been entrusted with the duty to deliver the vote of thanks. However, I consider this myself as an opportunity. As we near the end of the inaugural session, it is with a full heart and mind, and I think it's on behalf of everyone present here that I can express my deep gratitude to everyone present here. Let me first thank our chief guest, C.A. Jayacharya, for the pearls of wisdom he has shed on us. Thank you so much, sir. Let me also thank C.A. Babu Abraham Kallivailil Central Council member, and CA Jomon K. George, member and past chairman of SIRC of ICAI, for the amazing presidential letters. Thank you so much, sir. Let me also take this opportunity to thank our branch chairman, CA Ranjit R. Warrior, for all the support to conduct the conference. Thank you so much, sir. Our own CA Salim sir never ceases to imbibe the energy and enthusiasm in all of us. Thank you for bringing a fresh packet of energy for us today, sir. Let me also thank all the committee members and staff of the Institute and of CICASA for the wonderful organization of the conference. Last but not the least, I thank all of you, my fellow students, for making time in this busy work and fast approaching due dates to attend our conference, both physically and virtually. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Shimishaji. Now please rise for the national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all for participating in this inaugural session. We thank the distinguished guests for taking their time of their very busy schedule for this event. Okay, sir.
Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Now, for the essence of any conference, which is the paper presentation, we have 15 exceptional students from all around the country who are mentored by experienced faculties. 5 technical sessions with 3 papers in each session. Without any further ado, let's get on with it. Technical session 1. On the agenda is accounting. The session chairman is none other than CA MP Vijay Kumar, who is currently a Central Council member of ICAI. He's a veteran chartered accountant, having the practical experience of a whooping 27 years as a chartered accountant. He has held prestigious positions such as chairman of Accounting Standard Board, Valuation Standards Board, Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, and the list goes on. He's also well known as a teacher for the subjects of accounting, financial reporting, and corporate law, with a teaching committee of 20 years. I invite you, sir, to the dais. I also invite all the paper presenters to the dais for the first session. I now invite CA Vivek Krishna Govind sir to occupy his position on the dais. I now invite CA Salim Abdul Rashid sir, the SICASA chairman of Ernakulam branch of ICAI, for the welcome address.
Good morning to all. I welcome to the special session on the accounting, and I would like to invite our learned and our own MBV sir, known to all persons whenever it comes to the accounting standard and accounting related subject. We have no options. We have MBV sir. Welcome you, sir.
Can you switch on these lights so that I can see the audience actually? My senior council colleagues, Mr. Babu Abraham and Mr. Jay Chera, colleague in the regional council and good friend Joman George, branch office bearers led by Ranjit, and the future of the profession. Greetings to all of you. Extremely happy to be here this fine morning, except that I feel a little guilty that I'm here for a very short duration. Personally, I would have loved to listen to all the 3 children present their papers before I could leave the city for another event which I have to attend at Hyderabad today evening. But nevertheless, I'm still happy that I got the opportunity to be here today with all of you and share my few thoughts on the topic. And as Salim was mentioning, for me, Ernakulam is like hometown, and I've had the opportunity of coming to this very own hall several times, and I'm sure I'll get those opportunities in times to come as well. In fact, Babu sir and Jaibai were talking about the audience, but I think it's just our bad luck that we have the dates relating to filing of income tax and all having got extended to 31st December. but I know the students of Ernakulam and of Kerala. They have always been hungry for knowledge, and events like this, it has always been a full attendance. It's been always a full attendance. In fact, this is the first occasion of probably these 6 or 7 occasions I've spoken in this hall, where I'm actually seeing lesser number of people. So it's just because of this extended dates and timelines that many children are missing to be here. But hopefully the branch is such a very dynamic branch, a very active branch. I'm sure there will be some other event to connect and help those students to get the benefit of a similar knowledge sharing session. So let me speak a few thoughts on the topic for this session, given the fact that we also need to manage the time for the day. I'll try to keep my thoughts a little crisp, and I don't want to speak too much, which will probably be out of the topics which these 3 children have to eventually speak as well. I also want to thank Vivek for kindly accepting the request to chair this session, because I need to catch the flight now. So first and foremost, as far as our accounting course is concerned, Mr. Jai Chera, who is the chairman of Board of Studies, in fact, in the institute, we call them as president of the students. We call them as president for students. So he has so beautifully articulated about the transformational effect of the new course curriculum, which was introduced during the leadership of Babu Abraham sir at the Board of Studies. But I want to share with you one step more than that. And the credit goes to the leadership of the institute over a long period of time. Who have always ensured that our curriculum gave the best quality chartered accountants who will be competitive across the world. And this leadership or demonstration of the fact that chartered accountants of our institute are capable of excelling all over the world. This journey, this road, these seeds have been laid by the members from this soil here. I'm sure all of you might be aware of the 350,000 chartered accountants we have. Almost about 70,000 chartered accountants are outside of India and who are contributing immensely to the organizations which they are associated with. And of those 70,000, I am reasonably confident that more than half of them come from this soil, Ernakulam and the state of Kerala. That's the kind of contribution of this soil to the development of the accounting profession. Similarly, of the 350,000 which I mentioned, while 70,000 of them are working outside of India in different countries, predominantly Middle East, Canada, Hong Kong, Singapore, and name it. You can actually close your eyes and put a finger on the globe world map and you will have minimum 50 to 70 chartered accountants in that particular country. Beyond the 70,000 chartered accountants, there are at least close to another 80,000 chartered accountants who are working for organizations like Shell Shared Services, organizations like Barclays, organizations like Ford, organizations like Genpact, organizations like Accenture, where these 80,000 chartered accountants are actually doing accounting related work for the global corporations who have operations across the world. So when you are working for Barclays in Chennai, you are actually looking at the entire accounting activities of Barclays global activities. When you work for Shell in Chennai, you are working for the accounting of the entire Shell operations across the world. And these are all Fortune 500 companies. These are all Fortune 500 companies. So of the 350,000 chartered accountants, 150,000 plus chartered accountants are already working with global organizations, either in another country or working in Chennai, Gurgaon, Pune, Bangalore, but they are actually working on global accounting literature. All of this has been possible. All of this has been possible because our forefathers, the leadership of the institute right since beginning, have always believed that our accounting and auditing practices should be the same as what is there across the world. While the economy was a developing economy, underdeveloped economy, what they believed right from 1949 is the educated lot are part of a developed lot, and consequently their competencies should be comparable with that of a developed nation. And hence, our accounting standards right from 1977, when the Accounting Standards Board was constituted, have always been based on the corresponding international accounting standard. While Palak will talk about Ind AS, which is a recent framework, recent product, even our accounting standards with the other two children will speak, AS2 and AS9. These standards, which have been drawn right from 1977, have always been based on the international accounting standards. They have been based on the international framework. For example, between the two sets of accounting standards we have, accounting standards and Ind AS. When it comes to accounting standards, which was last updated in 2001, up to 2001, every single accounting standard we had was a Control C, Control V of the corresponding international accounting standard, except minor edits and one standard on deferred tax, which is AS12. Otherwise, our standards have always been based on the best standards practiced across the world. If more than half the chartered accountants are either working abroad or working for global organizations, it has been made possible only because our accounting standards, which we have infused into our students, are the same as the global standards. The same is true with audit standards as well. Our audit standards, we have about 46 audit standards. Each of the 46 audit standards are again a Control C, Control V of the corresponding international standard of auditing issued by the International Audit Assurance Standard Board with very minor edits with reference to public sector enterprises. But otherwise, more or less, para to para, sentence to sentence, punctuation to punctuation, it's a copy paste. The point is, each of you are studying standards which are global standards, and during the 3 years of articleship, you are gaining practical experience of applying global standards, and that is why this institute has this huge record of excellence of producing chartered accountants for the world, not for the country. They produce chartered accountants for the world. Just look at the statistics I gave you. Half the chartered accountants work for global organizations. So you are actually producing chartered accountants for the world. And if you look at accounting bodies in other countries, nobody even has 150,000 members for their country. So that's the kind of contribution from here. Now, on accounting standards, I want all of you to take this one very, very important message. And at a young age, it is important that the right concept sink inside you. The right concept sink inside you. When you learn it right, when you learn something right, it stays with you forever. And I am sharing this with you out of the lots of experience I've gathered over a period of time. Honestly, at your age, I was not aware of this. I was not aware of this. I wasn't gifted to learn this aspect of accounting standards and audit standards. Even today, I come across many people who think accounting standards are meant for preparers of financial statements, audit standards are meant for auditors, and it is the preparers and auditors who are actually involved with the standards. And when the standard setting happens, drafting of standards happens, we think of preparers and auditors. That particular understanding is false. Whether accounting standards or auditing standards, both of them have a mother document, a parent document called framework. And as per the framework, every standard which is drafted keeping in mind only one person's interest, which is the user of financial statements. Not the preparer, not the producer, not the auditor, but every standard which is drafted, every line which is drafted, whether accounting or auditing, what is kept in mind is only user of the financial statements. So when you are preparing financial statements, is it useful information for the user? When you're expressing an audit opinion, how useful is that opinion to the auditor? I'll give a very simple example connecting with day-to-day life. Take, for example, the process of cooking food. Let's assume we have standard operating procedures for what input should go, how should the process of preparation be there, what should be the hygiene environment, control environment. We can define 100 things. But all of the food you cook ultimately is for the person who is consuming the food. So for the persons who are preparing the food, following the standard operating procedures could be a nightmare, could be very difficult. But these operating procedures are very important because the consumer of the food, he should get hygienic food and a healthy food. So while the standard can be difficult for preparer, the standard can be difficult for the quality inspector, what is important is the consumer of the food. On exactly similar lines, financial statements are prepared for the user of financial statements. It can be investors, it can be lenders, and several other stakeholders. My strong recommendation to all of you as young minds who have entered this profession is to understand that every activity you do, whether it is preparation or audit, what is paramount is the user of that particular information. So how useful and relevant it is for the user. That's the most important part. The second aspect which I'd like to share with all of you is that many of us have aspirations of career around investment banking, equity research, credit, taxation, direct, indirect, international transfer pricing, so on and so forth. All of us have aspirations on different areas of opportunities which we have. But please note, fundamental to all of this is accounting. So if tomorrow somebody is going to recruit you for an investment banking activity, the organization is looking at your ability to understand financial statements, income, expense, asset, liability, and add value in that process. Similarly, if somebody is employing you as a tax advisor, that person wants you to have an understanding of whether the accounting of income expense has been done appropriately. So accounting is fundamental to everything else you do around, your career opportunities. That is why This is called accounting profession. It's not called finance profession. It's called an accounting profession because the more stronger you are in your accounting fundamentals, your opportunity to offer better quality tax advice, better quality investment advice, better quality credit advice, etc., flows in. And hence, during your period of articleship, please ensure that you are learning this subject conceptually very, very well. The third point I'd like to share with all of you, and probably I'll conclude with that. I'm sure looking at the audience faces, most of you are currently probably in your intermediate, few of you in your final. Now, in intermediate, all of you learn accounting standards, and in final, it is Ind AS, which is a different framework. Some of us might have this impression that whatever I read in inter is any case not relevant in final because it is Ind AS or not too very helpful. I just want to correct that perspective. As I told you at the start, our accounting standards have always been based on the corresponding international accounting standards, and we stopped that updation in 2001. And what we have as Ind AS is the updated version of the international accounting standards, which got rebranded as IFRS, which Palak will share with you. So which got rebranded over a period of time, which is what all of you are referring as Ind AS. And Ind AS subsumes, Ind AS comprises the erstwhile international accounting standards plus the new set of standards issued with the branding of IFRS. So between accounting standards and IFRS, there is no difference per se. There is no difference per se. Income here is income, expense here is expense, asset here is asset, liability here is liability. So what is an asset in accounting standard does not become a liability for Ind AS, nor does it cease to be an asset. So the same principles apply. So the recognition criteria of income, expense, asset, liability is same. Same with measurement, presentation, and disclosure. Then what is the difference? The difference is a higher emphasis in Ind AS on three elements. These three elements are there in AS also. These three elements are there in accounting standards framework also, which you learn in inter. But in Ind AS, there is a higher emphasis of these three. These three elements are fair value. Second is substance or form. Third is disclosure. I'll give very simple examples on these three. And my appeal to all of you is, while in intermediate, ensure that you learn the 27 accounting standards you have thoroughly, which means you have almost finished your preparation for CA final. If you miss something in intermediate level, final, that 100 marks will be a write-off for you, wash-off for you, and qualifying itself will become a distant dream. So ensure that you catch up accounting standards conceptually very well in intermediate. I'll tell you the three differences between accounting standards and Ind AS. One, as I told you, is a higher emphasis on fair value. Many have this impression that fair value concept is there only in Ind AS and all, but fair value is there in accounting standards also. I'll give you one example. AS 13. What does it deal with? Guess not much of time unless you want me to miss the flight. AS 13 deals with fixed assets, inventory, investments. So investments in AS 13 are classified as two categories. They're classified as land and plant and machinery. Guys, quickly, I'll miss my flight. I'll stay back here. If I stay back here, I'll speak longer. Investments are classified as current, 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 and long term. Current and long term. Now, so when it comes to current investments, AS 13, which is an old standard, requires investments to be valued at lower of cost and, guys, quickly, lower of cost and, guys, again, I'll miss my flight, I'll speak longer. Lower of cost and net realizable value. And lower of cost, tell, you're correct. Tell. Fair value, lower of cost. I gave a hint at the start itself. So lower of cost and fair value. So like this in several of the accounting standards, forget Ind AS, several of accounting standards itself, fair value is already used, whether it is AS 13, AS 16, AS 19, AS 28. There are several standards which already use the expression fair value. In Ind AS, we use that a little more in Ind AS. We have a little higher emphasis there. Second, concept of substance or form. None of you would have heard this so far. Am I right? You should tell I'm wrong. Substance or form, all of you heard? You have heard it now. So substance or form, what it means is the accounting is done not based on how it looks, but actually what is its impact. What is its impact? Now, in accounting standards also we have concept of substance or form, where if you look at lease transactions, even though lessor is the legal owner, asset is capitalized in lessee books because lessee is the beneficial owner of the asset. He enjoys the benefit, so you capitalize the asset in lessee books. That is an example of substance or form. In Ind AS also we have substance or form, but we use it a little more than what we have in accounting standards. The last is disclosures. Ind AS is meant largely for public interest entities, listed companies, etc., where you have lots of public money involved. And it is important that the information which you give is self-explanatory, and hence there are lots of disclosures which are prescribed. There are disclosures in accounting standards also, but in Ind AS you have higher level of disclosures because there's a lot of public interest and they should know how you have arrived at the estimates and judgments which have been made. So these are the only three differences between accounting standards and Ind AS. The purpose of me trying to highlight this to you is, at the intermediate stage, please ensure you get conceptually very strong on accounting standards. Final, when you come to Ind AS, you'll find it extremely comfortable. It's a voluminous literature, but what is asset in AS is also asset in Ind AS. It does not become a liability. What is expense there is also expense here. But there are little more finer principles which are laid down and clarified in Ind AS. So with this, let me conclude my sharing of my thoughts and wish you all the best. My sincere good wishes to all the three student speakers. My thanks to Vivek for having agreed to chair this session. Wish you all a very happy 2022 and stay blessed. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking time off of your busy schedule for our conference and inspiring us with your words. Now, we will move on to the presentations. Each speaker is required to speak for a minimum of 15 minutes and a maximum of 20 minutes. You will be shown a green card at the completion of 15 minutes. Each speaker is required to speak for a minimum of 15 minutes and a maximum of 20 minutes. You will be shown a green card at the completion of 15 minutes, a yellow card at 18 minutes, and a red card at the end of 20 minutes. I repeat, you will be shown a green card at the completion of 15 minutes, a yellow card at 18 minutes, and a red card at the end of 20 minutes. You will be given a grace period of 30 seconds to conclude. Our first speaker for the day is Ms. Palak Chehra. She is a final level student of 3 professional degrees, CA, CS, and CMA. She has served as a secretary of the Surat branch of SICASA in the year 2021 and is currently serving as the vice chairperson of the same branch. The topic for her presentation is AS versus IND-AS, the significance and applicability. Over to you, Palak, and all the best.
Mic check, mic check.
With excitement rushing through my veins, I left my home yesterday. I had been preparing for this paper since the last few days, and I was obviously, and I'm finally glad to share this moment with you. When I reached here, I was again reminded of Kerala as God's own country, because just as I reached, I reached last night, and at that point of time, I loved the surroundings and the people. I met a lot of them today, and I'm so sorry. Just a bit of nervousness. So, yeah. It's obviously very overwhelming to see all of you, especially the idols that I hold are listening to me too. So, yeah, so I'll start back again. So, yeah, as I reached here, I was definitely very excited to come and share this moment with all of you. And what I noticed, the first thing that I noticed was how well-spoken people are actually, and how softly they speak to each other. Like somebody was talking to another one in Malayalam, and the thing is, it was very sweet to listen to, but I could not understand a single word of it. And my situation was exactly like, does this work? Yeah, so exactly my situation was like this. समझ नहीं आया, पर सुन के बहुत अच्छा लगा. And this was actually, it was ironic because this is exactly what my topic is about. My topic is about communication. Communication, according to me, has two parts. One is expression and the other is comprehension. When you're expressing, you have to be very clear, as Sir said, that whenever we are preparing financial statements, it's about the user. If the user cannot understand, the whole purpose of accounting is defeated. So the first thing that I noticed here, which also helped me prepare this presentation and give this example, was communication. And moving further, so today we'll be talking about a few points where we'll be discussing the differences between accounting standards and Indian accounting standards. As such, I had prepared this report after researching for a few days, but today, as I was listening to MP Vijay Kumar sir, actually it felt like, did I not really realize that AS and IND AS are genuinely actually the same? It almost felt like Sir just said that they had not been updated. But it was completely true how he made me realize. In fact, here I realized a new thing, that it was completely the same, and the entire presentation that I prepared, I was shocked that I could not realize. So this is one thing, one learning that I'm already getting here, is that if you diligently study this topic, if you diligently exercise this in your life, and if you're well versed with it during your articleship, you will be able to understand it much better. I have not done it as such in articleship. I did not get exposure. But since Sir is here with such experience, it was easier for him to tell what is the substance over form and not the actual, what was it being shown as, that it is different. So here we will be discussing about some few points. One are reasons for migration. Why did we feel like we should adopt IND AS or the IFRS? The applicability and phases of the convergence to IND AS, the carve-ins and carve-outs, the impact analysis after the implementation, the significant departures from accounting standards, opportunities for chartered accountants. Because after all, that is what matters. That's what we're going to be doing. So definitely it holds a very big importance to us. Now, throughout the presentation, I want you all to remember this. My reaction, that समझ नहीं आया पर सुन के अच्छा लगा. But I hope that इसके बाद आपको ऐसा नहीं लगा, मेरे presentation के बाद आपको ऐसा नहीं लगे कि समझ नहीं आया पर सुन के अच्छा लगा. Hopefully. So moving ahead. So yeah, as Sir already said, IFRS is Desi, IND AS is Desi IFRS. Here, what we have realized is that since the Desi IFRS that IND AS are, they have made us realize that basically there is no major difference between. I'm sorry, can I have a bottle of water? Yeah. It's okay. I can continue. IND AS are the Desi IFRS, and by that I mean that when we were preparing the IND AS, we actually we were thinking about adopting it completely, but because of certain issues, certain changes in accounting practices, because of changes in conceptual differences, we had to adopt it and converge it completely so that we could apply it in our industry. So basically, these are the reasons for migration to IND AS, which are the Desi version of IFRS. So why do we do accounting? I want some kind of interaction with the audience here. Why do we account? To know the results. to understand financial standing, easy keeping of book records, reporting requirements exactly, losses, actually understanding what is the result. So basically, there are three reasons why we account. First is that for legal compliance. Second is for procurement of capital. Third is to actually determine whether there is a profit or loss, and whatever the situation is, how to improvise it. There are three basic reasons why we do that. So when we look at these reasons for migration to India, these are basically the reflections of the three reasons why we account and why accounting is such an important thing for us. One, first of all, capital inflows in India. Obviously, when we have better, clearer financial statements that are more consistent with international practices, the investors from outside India it will be more easier for them to adopt, to invest in our country. Capital inflows, then global recognition of our financial statements due to certain inconsistencies because accounting standards were not updated in the last few years, in the past 2 decades. That was a big reason why we had to migrate to Ind AS, which is the Desi version. Then movement of learned accounting professionals across the world. As CA students, we should be really proud that we are well versed with almost every subject that is pertaining to the business. We know about taxation, we know about audit, we know about how to actually, even internal audit. We know how to control the business, how to manage the business. We know complete aspects of it. Even though we know that, why are we, due to certain restrictions that are due to, not because of us, that is because of the external market, why are we being restricted to India? That was one reason why for the betterment of accounting professionals, so that they could explore further opportunities. That's why we had to migrate to India. Then international acquisitions, joint ventures, all of that. And finally, consolidation of financial statements of multinational enterprises operating in India and abroad. So earlier there was an issue when a company who was abroad, if they had a branch here, they had to separately account for it according to accounting standards. And when Indian branches were working outside, they had to account differently. So because of those issues, the government thought it would be a better idea to convert and migrate to the Ind AS. So what are the significant benefits of adopting Ind AS? The three basic tenets are transparency, accountability, and efficiency. This is the make or break situation for any business, for any economy, for any market. Because if the investor does not trust that the books are transparent, that they are being shown what is actually there in the business, why would they invest? Without capital flow, there would be no growth. That's why transparency is absolutely essential. Accountability. This reduces the information gap between the providers of the capital and the users of the capital. Here, this also leads to effective compliance. So right now, what I would like to share is that, do you know why cost auditing was implemented by the government? Cost accounting and auditing was implemented because earlier, back, I think 50 years back, they used to have this policy that government would always accept contracts at cost plus, on a cost plus basis. So what businesses started doing was that they tried to window dress it. They were showing higher cost when actually they had not incurred that. For that reason, obviously due to that reason, the government had lost its trust on the businesses. Second, that's why auditing was introduced. Then secondly, if there's a CBDT, in any case of any other regulator, in that situation also, transparency matters the most. Then efficiency. Investors identify opportunities. Investors from other countries who think that Indian businesses are doing quite well. Earlier, there might have been issues for them to understand our financial statements, but because of migrating to Ind AS, those have been reduced by a lot. So that's why this leads to capital allocation, better capital allocation. The person who can use it in the best way, only that person will get the capital available. The market statistics were that almost 160 plus countries have already either adopted the IFRS completely or they have converged with the IFRS. And there were almost 27,000 plus companies who are actually using IFRS standards, either the adopted version completely or the amended or the converged version. So now let's discuss about the applicability of accounting standards and Indian accounting standards. So for accounting standards, or it is applicable to all corporate entities. So as you all know that accounting standards are notified by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Earlier there was NACAS, and then right now there is NFRA. And it is obviously MCA is mostly working for companies and the others also. So for all corporate enterprises, it was completely compulsory. And the other were divided into 3 levels. The second and third level being SMEs. And the first level being banks, financial institutions or securities who propose to be listed or are already listed, who are not in the corporate entity. For then roadmap for implementation of Ind AS. So actually Ind AS was initially envisioned to be made applicable to Indian markets since 2011. However, due to certain issues and restrictions, it was only made applicable after 2016. So since then, this is the complete phase-wise implementation of Ind AS. Firstly, the companies who had net worth of more than 500 crores were chosen, of course. Then it is a complete phase-wise thing where NBFCs on phase 1 and phase 2, they are all divided into categories based on the net worth. So this is the complete phase-wise implementation for the Ind AS. Okay. So now, first we will discuss the departures from IFRS. The Ind AS that have been prepared, we will discuss the departures from IFRS. Those are known as the carve-ins and carve-outs. Something that there was some kind of discrepancy because of the market regulation or because of the regulatory environment, because accounting practices differed as I discussed earlier. Because of such reasons, we could not completely adopt the Ind AS. So due to that reason, we had to converge, and these are the significant departures from IFRS. As such, we are 98% compliant with IFRS. So earlier when it was implemented, we were, in fact, IASB, the International Accounting Standard Board, was of the opinion that India is completely not following because there were significant departures. But now we are increasingly moving towards adopting them completely. Now, departures from accounting standards. To discuss this, as I said earlier, that we had to adopt IFRS or the converged version Ind AS because there was an issue between countries having different GAAP, generally accepted accounting procedures. So due to that reason, we had to adopt to this so that we could have, I'll move to the second point, reporting versus accounting. Whenever I'm, as I said, communication has 2 parts. One is actually expressing, and second is, it's okay, I'll just end it right. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Palak.
That's fine. That was a fantastic job, Palak, and a little nervous at times, a little shaky, for which I would entirely blame a Central Council member seated in the front row. I've been through the same situation, so I completely relate to the problem, Palak. Initially, my dad is also a senior chartered accountant in profession, and after a while, I would tell him, I would check with him. In fact, before I go for a talk, I hope you're not coming, so I think you should ensure that next time around. Lighter vein. She spoke with a lot of clarity on the points on which she has, deliberated on. I'm sure there are probably a few more points on which she may need to add, and then we'll give her an opportunity once she's a little more relaxed. And I think a little too much of light also on stage. So sitting here, I think all of us are feeling a little tentative. So I'm sure she can come back and take a brief pause and come back and complete. But a very relevant topic. Some of us who've been involved in implementation of the Ind AS once it was implemented, we know the kind of nuances and the issues which we've had to face on a practical level once that was implemented. And personally, I've had the opportunity to work on several large PSU companies, ONGC, NTPC, and a large bank in SBI, etc. Many a time we would talk to MPV sir and get his advice. And we also had another legend in the profession, Amarjit Chopra, with whom we were closely working when we were central auditors in SBI. And for every little thing, we would be talking to Chopra ji also and getting his view on the whole translation process. And very complex when it comes to actually implementing it. But very nicely simplified when MPV sir spoke, and also when Palak has also added to that in her presentation. And we'll come back to you once we take a brief pause. And now we have two again very interesting topics, AS2 and AS9. So who'd like to go first? You'll go. Okay, over to you, Ganga.
Now we have speaker number 2 on stage, Ms. Ganga P. Vijayan, a CA final student pursuing articleship in Suri and Company, Ernakulam. Her topic for the presentation is the concept of revenue recognition. Over to you, Ganga.
Hello. Okay. Good morning, all. So, I'll be presenting on the topic Accounting Standard 9 Revenue Recognition. So, I'm quite nervous. I didn't know it was a national conference until I came here. So, I just thought it was a CA students conference. So, there's a lot of pressure on me. Okay. So let's start by answering to the very basic question, what is revenue? Accounting Standard 9 defines revenue as the gross inflow of cash, receivables, other consideration from sale of goods, rendering of services, and other sources such as dividend, royalty, and interest. For your ease of understanding, revenue means what we receive from the sale of goods or rendering of services. You all know that revenue is a vital component of a financial statement. Recognizing revenue becomes extremely important for any entity, be it a profit-oriented or a non-profit-oriented. So this standard talks about the recognition part of the revenue. It does not focus on the accounting or presentation part. Okay. let's look into the aspects covered under this standard. The aspects covered under the standard are limited to revenue from sales, revenue from rendering of services, interest, royalty, and dividend. There are certain aspects that are not covered under the standard, such as construction contract, government grants, lease, hire purchase, insurance income relating to insurance company, for which ICAI has issued a separate standard governing the same. Now, let's look into detail of the aspects covered under the standard. First aspect that I'll be covering is sale of goods. There are three conditions that has to be satisfied for us to recognize revenue from sale of goods. First one is transfer of ownership. Second one, transfer of possession. Third one, certainty in ultimate collection. I'll go one by one. Transfer of ownership. An ownership is said to be transferred when the risk and rewards attached to the good is transferred from the seller to the buyer. In such a case, if other two conditions are satisfied, then the seller can recognize it in his books of account. Second condition is transfer of possession. A possession is said to be transferred when the delivery has been made by the seller to the buyer. But there is an exception to this condition. If the goods are delayed at the buyer's request, then seller can recognize it in his books of account irrespective of whether the delivery has been made or not. Third condition is certainty in ultimate collection. The seller should be certain that he will receive the ultimate collection. In such a case, if all the other three conditions are satisfied, he can recognize in his books of account. In addition to all these conditions, there are certain other conditions that has to be satisfied in some special cases. Okay, thank you. First one is consignment goods. The consignor can recognize the revenue from the sales only when the goods have been sold by the consignee to the ultimate third party. Second one is inspection sales. Under inspection sales, the goods has to be inspected only and the customer has to be satisfied for the seller to recognize in his books of account. And third one is warranty sales. Under warranty sales, the revenue from such sales can be recognized immediately, but the provision for repairs has to be maintained by the seller against such sales. Then you have installation sales. Under installation sales, the installation has to be completed and the customer has to be satisfied for the seller to recognize in his books of account. And lastly, you have hire purchase. Under hire purchase, the cash that you receive immediately has to be recognized in your books of account, but the interest can be recognized subsequently. With this, I come to an end of the special cases that comes under sales or sale of goods. Now, let's look into recognition of services. In order to recognize revenue from rendering of services, there are two methods. First one is completed service method, and second one is proportionate service completion method. Under completed service method, you can recognize the revenue only of the completed service as on the balance sheet date. Under proportionate completed service method, you can recognize the revenue of both completed as well as incompleted service as on the balance sheet date. I would like to repeat. First one, under completed service, only the completed service can be recognized. Under proportionate completion service method, you can recognize both the incomplete as well as the complete as on the balance sheet date. Any of the two methods can be adopted by the entity, but once adopted, it cannot be changed. Any change thereafter will result in change in policy as per Accounting Standard 1. Now, let's look into special cases that comes under rendering of services. First one is tuition fees. The tuition fees can be recognized over the instruction period. Second one is advertising agency. Let's take a case. A company approaches us to advertise a commercial. We can recognize only the revenue from such commercial only when it is displayed in front of the public. Third one is installation. Installation fees can be only recognized when the installation is completed and the customer is satisfied. Fourth, we have admission fees. You all have taken ticket to enter this conference. The revenue from this conference can only be recognized after the event is completed. The last one is financial commission or brokerage. Any financial services or broker service that you provide, you can recognize the revenue only after the service is being completed. With this, I come to an end of the cases that are covered under rendering of services. Next one is interest income. Interest income, as you all know, is the income that we receive for the use of our cash or receivables. The revenue on interest income is recognized on a timely basis, and interest income is calculated by applying a specified rate on the receivables. Next one, we have dividend income. Dividend income is the income that is received to the shareholders for the investment that they make. And the dividend income can only be recognized when the right to receive dividend is established, which means that the dividend is declared at the dividend is declared by shareholders at the AGM. And lastly, we have royalty income. The royalty income is basically what we receive for the use of intangible assets like patent rights. So, the royalty income is recognized based on the terms of agreement between the parties. With this, I come to the end of the recognition criteria for the aspects covered under the standard. Now, let's look into some additional concepts that is relating to the standard. First one is interdivisional sales. Under interdivisional sales, there are two divisions within an entity that sell goods. So, we all know that there are three conditions. First one is transfer of possession, second one is transfer of ownership, and certainty and ultimate collection. There is transfer of possession, there is certainty and ultimate collection. But is there a transfer of ownership? The answer is no. Because when a division A transfers the good to division B, the ownership doesn't change. The risk and rewards remains within the entity. As a result, we shall not recognize the revenue from interdivisional sales in the books of account. Next one is real estate. In 2012, ICAI has issued guidance note on real estate builders. It includes the conditions as well as certain other points for the real estaters to recognize revenue in their books of account. There are 4 or 5 conditions that has to be satisfied for them to recognize revenue from real estate in their books of account. First one is at least 25% of the total saleable area should be sold. Second condition is that at least 10% of the fair value of the area sold should be received. And third condition is that at least 25% of the total cost, including the cost of land, should be incurred by the builder. And lastly, there should be a certainty in the ultimate collection. And if all these 4 conditions are satisfied, then the real estate builder can recognize the revenue from the real estate business in his books of account. And lastly, we have the effect of uncertainty. There are 2 cases under certainty in, there are 2 cases. First one is, as we all know, we have 3 conditions. One of the conditions is certainty in ultimate collection. When you are about to recognize a revenue, there should be certainty that you will receive the ultimate collection. If there is no certainty, then you shall postpone the recognition and you will not recognize the revenue immediately. Second situation is a case where you recognize the revenue thinking that you will receive the amount, but subsequently you realize that the ultimate collection is doubtful. In such a case, you shall create a provision for the same. With this, I come to end of presentation, but I would like to give a quick recap so that this standard talks or focuses on revenue recognition. We saw the aspects covered under standard, the sale of goods, rendering of services, royalty, dividend, and income. Then we looked into the additional concepts which cover the interdivision sales because it's not recognized in the books because there is no change in the ownership. Then we looked into real estate where the builders has in order for them to recognize revenue in the books of account, they have to satisfy few conditions. And lastly, we covered the effect of uncertainty. With this, I come to an end of my presentation. I hope I was able to do justice to the topic I was given. Have a great day.
Yes, thank you very much. You need to add anything more, Ganga? You're done, right? Yeah. Okay. So it was very good, Ganga, very structured presentation, and you went about it with a great deal of clarity. As all of us are aware, it's very, very complex. These are the very simplified concepts that you heard here, AS9 recognition and the Ind AS side of it, or the IFRS side of it, or the ICDS side of it when it comes to revenue recognition is extremely complex. Very briefly, she spoke about real estate here. Now, real estate is something which we've all had to bang our heads on the walls to actually try and in various situations to try and figure out at what point do you recognize revenue, and the taxman takes a different perspective, and we've had to apply our mind and find very many solutions to many of the problems which have come up. And so this is something which is extremely complicated. AS9 very, very simple and lucid when it comes to concepts, but when you come to actually applying it as to whether regarding revenue recognition on a cutoff, revenue recognition when it comes to work in progress, when it comes to contract completion, whether completed contract, percentage completion, so many things which come into play, wherein other standards also are also part of taking a final decision as to the point of recognition of revenue, etc. So my request to all of you is, understand the standards well and go into it in great depth. Only then will you be in a position to figure out when an actual situation comes. All right, for paucity of time, I will just keep my comments to as minimum words as possible. Let's move on to the next speaker. Reshma will talk to us about AS2, so you can introduce her.
For our next speaker, we have Ms. Reshma Joy. She is a CA final student undergoing articleship at KV Venkatachanam Iyer & Co., Ernakulam. She has presented a paper on the National Students' Conference organized by SIRC and SICASA, Chennai. The topic for presentation is the valuation of inventories. Over to you, Reshma, and best of luck.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Vivek sir, my dear esteemed listeners, it's my privilege to talk about my paper in this auspicious event organized by the Board of Studies. I'll be presenting on the paper Valuation of Inventories. Now, just one second. Sorry, let's resume. Okay, so I'll be presenting on the topic valuation of inventories. Upon examining the financial statements as per the Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013, we could trace the presentation of inventories under the classification of current assets in the financial statements. And with forming part of that, there will be a detailed explanation forming part of the notes to accounts regarding the methods, the mode of valuation, accounting policies, etc. Inventory valuation is very crucial for an entity to determine the profit or loss for the accounting period. Higher the value of inventory, lower will be the value of cost of goods sold, hence higher the profit. And this marks the significance of inventory in both the balance sheet and statement of profit and loss. So let's move on. Through my paper, I would like to give you a brief description on various aspects of both AS2 and Ind AS 2, which are in common actually. That includes definition, scope of AS2, Ind AS 2, valuation, thumb rule for valuation, cost formulas, techniques, net realizable value, and disclosures both as per AS2 and Ind AS 2. And finally, a wrap up on the most distinguishing factors, most common distinguishing factors between AS2 and Ind AS 2. So let's begin. What is an inventory? Simply speaking, inventories are assets that are held in the business for generating revenue. Before going into the standard language of the definition, let's have it through a simple illustration. Now consider a company, Magic Private Limited, which is engaged in the manufacturing and selling of ready-mix concrete. And by analyzing the business structure of Magic Company, we could see different categories of inventories. That is, for ready-mix concrete manufacturing, the company obviously requires some raw materials, that is sand, mica, cement, etc. So, first part, raw material of the inventories. And then comes, at the balance sheet date, there can be partially complete production of ready-mix concrete, that is not actually ready-mix concrete, which is in the process of formation of concrete. And that forms the work-in-progress part of the inventory. And the ultimate output or the end result of Magic Private Limited Company is what? The ready-mix concrete, and which is actually the finished goods of the inventory. So here we can see raw materials, work in progress, and finished goods. And also consumables like spares and loose tools also form part of the inventory because they are actually used in the running business in a regular intervals of time for the production of concrete here for the example. And now looking into the definition, inventories are assets held for sale in the ordinary course of business. That is here ready-mix concrete. And in the process of production for such sale, that is, in the process of production implies work in progress. And in the form of materials or supplies to be consumed in the production process, that is raw materials and consumables. I hope it's clear. Now let's look into the scope of AS2. AS2 applies to all inventories other than the following. Work in progress of construction activities, which is dealt separately in AS7. And then work in progress of service rendering sectors like medical services, shipping services, which are not complete. And that also doesn't form part of AS2. And then financial instruments like shares, debentures, and other securities, which are held as stock in trade. And then producers' inventories of livestock, minerals, ores, gas, etc. to the extent of net realizable value, which are practiced in the established industries of the set inventories. And so these all are not forming part of AS2. And now let's have a look into the scope of Ind AS 2. Here also for Ind AS 2, it excludes financial instruments like shares, debentures and other securities which are dealt separately in Ind AS 32 and Ind AS 109. And then biological assets related to agricultural activity, agriculture product at the point of harvest. I repeat, biological assets related to agricultural activity and agricultural product at the point of harvest is dealt separately in Ind AS 41. And also another disclosure that Ind AS 2 does not apply to measurement requirement for the following categories, like producers of agriculture and forest products, agriculture produce after harvest, minerals and mineral products, commodity broker traders. So this implies that only the measurement requirement of the Ind AS 2 provisions are not applicable for these inventories. All other requirements like disclosure are still applicable. Okay, and then the thumb rule for valuation. That is, inventories should be valued at lower of cost of inventories and net realizable value. And this fact is based on the view that the carrying amount of asset should not exceed the value which it can actually realize through its sale or use. That is why inventories are valued in the financial statements at lower of cost of inventories and net realizable value. And the classification of inventories depends upon business to business. As I stated earlier, for Magic Private Limited, ready-mix concrete manufacturing and sale was a business. For them, land in which their factory is set up is not an inventory, but it forms fixed asset of the company. But if Magic Private Limited company is engaged in real estate business, the land purchase becomes the inventory. So classification or identification of inventories depends upon the business the party is engaged into. Now let us decode this statement, that is lower of cost of inventories and net realizable value. For raw materials, it will be valued at cost if finished goods are sold at or above cost, and if the finished goods are valued at below cost, the raw materials will be valued at replacement cost, which is equivalent to net realizable value of the raw materials. And finished goods and work in progress, lower of cost or net realizable value. Now we will be moving on to a detailed discussion on the cost of inventories, followed by net realizable value. Cost of inventories, actually, it is a summation of cost of purchase plus cost of conversion plus other costs. That is, it includes cost of purchase, conversion, other costs, which is incurred in bringing the inventories to their present location and condition. Let's look into each one by one. So again, I'll quote the example of Magic Private Limited. Suppose they have purchased 100 sacks of cement and 50 sacks of sand during the financial year 2020-21. And cost of purchase means all the costs incurred by the company to procure the sand and cement for the factory, including the taxes paid, which are not recoverable from the tax departments. And that forms part of cost of purchase. Cost of conversion means the costs incurred during the production or the conversion of these sand and cement into ready-mix concrete. The cost includes the systematic allocation of fixed and variable overheads into it. And another concept to be discussed in this cost of conversion is the cost of conversion apportionment for byproducts and joint products. Say for example, Amul. Amul produces cheese, butter and cream for milk, which are joint products. And let's say buttermilk can be the byproduct of Amul's production. So the apportionment, if the cost of conversion cannot be separately identified for each of these joint products, we'll allocate it on a rational and consistent basis based on the completion of the production process or based on the sale value at the time of identification of these separate products. And byproducts are always immaterial in most of the cases, and that time these are valued at net realizable value, and that will be deducted from cost of the main product. I hope it's clear. So that is all about cost of conversion, and other costs incurred is in bringing inventories to the present location and condition. That is, if the customer wants a customized product regarding the design of something, that can be added to other costs because it is actually part of inventory cost in bringing the inventory into current condition and location. And there are some exclusion for the cost of inventories: abnormal amount of wasted materials, labor, storage cost, there is a comma, unless those costs are incurred in the production process prior to a further production stage. So if it relates to if the storage cost relates to a production stage, that can also be a part of inventory cost. And administrative overheads and selling overheads or selling costs that cannot form a part of inventories where it can be brought into current present location and condition. And actually, another interesting point, interest and borrowing costs are actually not required to be part of cost of inventories because they are not required to bring the inventories to current location and condition. But they can be added if the inventories require substantial period of time to be ready for intent of sale. The typical example is the wine industry. So for wine industry and all, the interest and borrowing costs can be can be added to the cost of inventories as it requires subsequent time for the asset for ready to sale. Now, let us discuss about the cost formulas. cost formulas, as per AS, the cost formulas should reflect the approximate identification of the cost of the inventories, and as per INT-AS, the cost formulas should be applied in such a way that for all the inventories having the same value, meaning and usage for the entity, same formula should be applied throughout. That is, as per the educational material for INT-AS 2, it was clarified that even if the materials or the inventories are present in different geographical conditions of the world, if they are having same meaning and use to the entity, still same cost formula should be applied throughout the inventory valuation. And now coming to, as per the standard, there are 3 cost formulas. First one, specific identification of individual costs. As the same name suggests, the inventories costs are allocated in such a way that all the inventory elements are separately identifiable in the company. And next, first in first out method, which is a very common method and which is a consistent method for approval also. Therein, the inventories are valued at the latest cost of purchase of the inventory stock. And then comes weighted average cost formula, wherein weighted average cost of the inventories at the beginning of the period and weighted average cost of the inventories during the purchase are considered to value the inventories at the balance sheet date. Now let's look into the techniques for measurement of cost. There also standard says 2 methods, standard cost method and retail method. Standard cost method means standard cost is applied for the inventory valuation, and provided the standard cost should be approximately equal to the actual levels. Standard cost method considers that standard normal levels of labor, material, production capacity, utilization, etc. And retail method comes into view for retail industries where there are large number of changing, rapidly moving inventories which are having similar margin, for which other costing methods would be difficult for identification of each valuation of inventories through the cost. For that, retail method will be used for the valuation as per techniques for measurement of cost. Now coming to next leg of the measurement thumb rule where we started, the lower of cost or net realizable value. Coming to net realizable value. Mathematically speaking, net realizable value equals estimated selling price minus estimated cost of completion minus estimated selling cost. That means net realizable value is what the company expects to earn in net if the inventory is sold. And these estimates are based on the most reliable evidence at the time of valuation of inventories. And it also considers the fact what is the purpose the inventory is being held by the company. And assessments are made of net realizable values each year at the balance sheet date, and if possible or if required, they are revised at times. Now let's move on to disclosures. Actually, disclosures, it increases the transparency of the use of the financial statements by the stakeholders. As per AS2, the financial statement shall disclose accounting policies, the cost formula used that we discussed earlier, and also the total carrying amount of inventories and the classification of those inventories. Classification means, as we discussed with Magic Private Limited, whether it's raw material inventory, work in progress, or finished goods. And moving to disclosure in AS2, other than the disclosures in AS2, there are some additional points regarding the disclosure in AS2. That is, carrying amount of inventories carried at fair value less cost to sell, then amount of inventories recognized as expense during the period, then the amount of write-offs, then reversal of write-offs if any, and carrying amount of inventories pledged as securities for current liabilities, etc. And this recognition and fair value and write-down we'll discuss later. So by comparing, we could see that there is more disclosure aspect in AS2 rather than in AS2. Now we'll have a wind-up discussion on the distinguishing factors between AS2 and IND-AS2. Till now, we were discussing the common areas covered in AS2 and IND-AS2 regarding the cost formulas, techniques, valuation, thumb rule, net realizable value, etc. Coming to differences, scope, which we have already discussed in detail, the scope of AS2 and IND-AS2, and cost formula also we have already discussed that there is a difference that AS2 want the company to approximately reflect the cost of the inventory to be with the cost formula adopted, and IND-AS2 wants the company to use the same formula for all the inventories having same use and same meaning for the entity. And now coming to disclosure requirements, we saw there are more disclosure requirements for IND-AS2 than in AS2. And subsequent recognition means the carrying amount of inventories at the time of sale will be expensed off in the statement of profit and loss during the year in which the sale happens. That is what subsequent recognition talks about. And also, if there is any write down from the net realizable value, or if there's any write back, if the company feels that the net realizable value considered earlier was lower, then all those such recognition shall be expensed off into profit and loss account at the year in which it is done. And now explanation to fair value. AS2 doesn't speak anything about fair value concept, but Index 2 describes fair value concept. That fair value means the price at which we sell at the market conditions during the time of sale. It speaks in the point of market view rather than in a business entity perspective. And that's all about AS2 and covering aspects of Index 2. And now, physical valuation or physical check of inventories are also very important for inventory valuation. Entities have to have a balance on the inventory control on what the inventory is coming out and how much inventory is going out for the entity to have its operations in a smooth way and to have a financial control over the entities. And accounting softwares of inventories can now integrate with book accounting softwares and also enterprise resource planning systems. Also, if the company the company can appoint an inventory auditor wherein the auditor uses analytic tools to analyze and check whether the financial accounts matches with the physical check of the inventories. And also the responsibility of the auditor doesn't end there. The auditor has to be very sure that the basis adopted by the entity for the inventory valuation is apt for the entity. And as per Clause 2 of the CAROT 2020, the auditor has again another responsibility to report that whether the physical check of the inventories are done at periodic intervals by the management, the methods and policies used by the management is fair enough, or if there is any discrepancies in over and above 10% of the aggregate of the classifications of inventories, whether the management has dealt with it beautifully in a practical way in the books of accounts to correct the counter impacts which the management has traced during the physical verification. Thus, inventories is all about their existence, their disclosures, their valuation, the methods adopted, the accounting, the auditor's role. Everything should go hand in hand for the proper functioning of a business entity. Thank you.
It was wonderful, Reshma. Very professorial exposition from your side, and I'm sure the concepts which she has conveyed are of great relevance for all of us. AS2 is something which I'm sure once all of you, those of you, I'm sure many of you or most of you here are already probably doing your articleship right now. You will be seeing that inventory valuation is part and parcel of our everyday bread. So it's very, very critical that we understand the various methodologies, the ways in which it needs to be done. Some of the nuances in AS2 also needs to be fully focused on. Do not miss out on those aspects as well. Again, the broad concepts have been very clearly explained to you, but it's important that you need to keep your eyes and ears open whenever you are doing anything practically when it comes to inventory valuation. There is a physical side to it and there is a valuation side to it. So you must also keep that in mind. Whenever you get an opportunity to do a physical verification of inventory, do not shy away from it. അയ്യോ അത് ഭയങ്കര ചൂടാണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവിടെ പോയി ഓയിലിൻ്റെ ടാങ്കറിനുള്ള ഡിപ്പ് ഇടണം, മെനക്കേടാണ്, സ്റ്റെപ്പ് കയറണം, ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ആലോചിച്ചിട്ട് പോവാണ്ടിരിക്കരുത്. Whenever you get an opportunity to go for a physical verification, please go. Because every industry, it's unique. And it's only if you actually participate in physical verification activities would you be able to completely appreciate inventory valuation when you get a piece of paper on which you're valuing. Because every product, every industry is different. And when it's not just about some mathematical formula wherein you do a overhead divided by normal production or actual production and you arrive at a figure and you load it by 20% or you discount it by 40%. And these are ways in which you may be doing it on paper. But it is equally important and probably more that you're actually there on site understanding what the product is, and only then will you get a clear understanding of the concepts, and you'll be able to correlate what you learn to what you're actually doing only if you're really on site understanding how inventory is to be valued. Because end of the day, it's the value of inventory that you're talking about. You can have anything on paper, but if actually, we've seen that many a time, where on paper there will be inventory worth crores. You go to the godown or you go into the to the silos or you go to the storage locations and you will see nothing but tons of crap there, which will have absolutely no value at all. So it's important that you are very, very alert when it comes to inventory valuation. That's my 2 bits on that, and I'll save my time so that probably a couple of minutes extra can be given to Palak to complete her presentation. I understand she has 6 minutes left, but probably with the support of the MC, probably we can give another 2-3 minutes extra for her to complete her slides. So chill, I don't see your dad here, so finish it before he comes back.
Thank you so much, sir. Now invite Ms. Palak Chera to get on with her presentation.
So let's resume on a much more enthusiastic note. And actually, this is the beauty of our profession. Giving chances and opportunities to people. I had prepared for this so much and I was so stressed that I could not do the starting part so effectively. I got so demotivated that I did not want to continue. So that is the story of almost every CA student. That what we need to learn. The second thing that I'm learning today is that how to get back into it after I think that I might have failed, but probably the failure would be when I don't come back and do not give up. So, thank you so much. So yes, let's continue. So departures from accounting standards. As I discussed earlier, global versus country approach. It is obvious that since accounting principles were different in different countries, we had to migrate to Ind AS. And that is a major departure from accounting standard. Secondly, reporting versus accounting. I was discussing about communication earlier. If I just say things in a monotonous voice and I do not try to explain anything and just read these slides, will it make any sense to you? It would not. When I'm trying to explain to you something, I need to be completely aware of what is the best way to make you understand what I'm trying to say. So again, expression plus comprehension. This is what is the biggest departure from Ind AS as compared to AS. Earlier, we were just thinking about accounting. Now, we are thinking about reporting to the users of the financial statements. And this is done through several modes. Enhanced disclosures. There are substance over form, principle versus rule-based, etc. That I will cover later on. Third, requires higher degree of judgment and estimates. So here I would like to take example of Ind AS 1. The biggest difference, probably not, it might not sound too significant, but the name of the AS1 is what? Disclosure of accounting policies, and Ind AS 1 is presentation of financial statements. It's not only limited to disclosing the accounting policies. It is completely based on how effectively you need to prepare and present your financial statements. There's a clause there which says that even if these are what are standards supposed to do. Usually we are like that we have to follow these rules, but Ind AS has taken a different approach to that. We are not thinking about rules and following only those, but what our ultimate purpose is to tell the users of the statement what is a true and fair view of the accounts. That is the whole purpose. So here, it allows you to deviate from the standards, what is written, the options available to do accounting for a particular thing. And in that situation, it requires higher degree of judgment and estimates. This is a boon and a curse, of course, because a person who knows how to exploit it might use it as a way to fool the users of the financial statements, and others can genuinely use to impact hundreds and thousands. So Next difference is the components of the financial statements. We had learned at intermediate level that there were 5 things to financial statements. Balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow statement, notes to accounts, and change in statement of equity. So here also the same things are required. However, it's over, like, okay, yeah. However, you can, in Ind AS, there are 2 other things also required. When you change, you are supposed to restate your accounts, and that could be because of changing in accounting policies, or you're having some policies according to retrospective effects. You're applying retrospective effects to them. So in that situation, you are supposed to give 1 year comparative statement when you're adopting it for the first time, minimum 1 year. You can give more than that. And secondly, in cases of restatement, you need to, create the opening balance sheet to obviously make it more comparable. If if the earlier accounting policy is followed, it is not really comparable. Next is substance over legal form. So this is literally a statement issued by the IASB chairman, International Accounting Standard Board chairman, who have created the IFRS, that if it acts like a duck, quacks like a duck, swims like a duck, call it a duck. The management will be very keen, like with the Satyam scams happening and several other scams, the management will be completely keen on showing a overstated result of the financial statement. But here, we don't have to, even if, and they would usually do it in such a way that rule tha na, humne usko follow kar diya. We are doing what the rules expected us to do. But here, this is a major difference that India tells you, such hai wo batao. Don't say what the rules tell you to do. So this is substance over legal form, the biggest thing. Now, 2 examples which we have seen across the Ind-ASs are redeemable preference shares. What is equity share capital? What is share capital basically? Something that is going to stay with you throughout the existence of the business. Now, even preference shareholders are actually, in a way, the owners of the company or the business. However, if they're redeemable, how are they actually owners? They are liability. Thus, the redeemable preference shares are stated as a liability and not an equity shareholder. And finally, operating versus financial lease. Financial lease is in a way just a way of providing loan. Here I would like to give example of when I was doing my articleship a few months back. I was very excited to do internal audit for a particular firm. It was a very big firm. It was a trading firm. But I was very excited, what do? They just buy from here and sell it here. But my sir told me, do not look at the firm, look at the substance. It is actually not a trading firm, it is a loan giving firm. Like uska pura ka pura format business ka ye tha ki 7 days mein they used to give, basically it was working capital provision. That's why here also operating versus financial lease, the main essence is financial lease is in a way a loan given to them. Because at the end of the day, they're going to purchase it back again. So this is one more difference. Principle based over rule based. So here, if there is a policeman and you can see that there are 2 sides. One is completely empty and second is full. But usko aisa bola tha कि 2 minutes you have to give to each of them. Even when you know that a smart person would give more time to the traffic jam and not the khali road, still if that person is doing the same thing, that is stupidity in a way. As I told you, you need to do what is true and fair and not what is rule-based. So that is principle over rule-based. Fair value versus historical cost approach, that's almost already covered by sir. Impact analysis post-implementation. So what are the major impacts? It impacts the entire economy. When accounting practices, when accounting principles are changed, the entire financial position and the performance of the country is changed. Benefits to capital markets, better capital allocation, increased trust and investor confidence, impact on the country's performance and position, better view of financial statements, you can better appreciate them, and there is wider scope. Then finally, the opportunities for chartered accountants. I have very limited time to do this, but yes. So these are the obvious things we can do: consultancy, first-time adoption, and all of those things we could do. Then there are international taxation. Accounting is the base for every single thing. If accounts are stated incorrectly, you cannot do anything. Every other thing is impacted. So everything related to that, monthly activity reports, the internal audits that we do, all of that, these are the basic things that, that is in the scope of the chartered accountants. And these are the offbeat opportunities that we have. Knowledge process outsourcing. India is now becoming the hub for that. Secondly, overseas opportunity. As I said, accounting professionals can go to and fro. And finally, if not only IFRS or Ind AS, there are several other accounting standards, governmental accounting standards, public sector accounting standards. All of these things are going to be internationally same, standard throughout the world. So this is also a very big scope. And finally, closing remarks. Usually I would have told you about AS versus Ind AS and all of the things, but here the biggest thing that I learned is that two things. As I said, that I hope it wasn't for you so that सुनने में अच्छा लगा, but कुछ समझ नहीं आया. Hopefully it was not that for you. I would really like to thank all of you for giving me the second opportunity. This is a very big thing for me, especially for sir, for really supporting me. I almost identified the issue was in the audience. I got very scared, but thanks again. I don't have much time, so thank you so much.
Friends, I think all three speakers deserve a loudest possible round of applause here. I think we've had a really good session, and particularly let me applaud the way in which Palak came back. She came back a very different person. We saw a very shaky, tentative first round from her, and in the the semi-final, final, as it progresses, sometimes your the willpower, grit, etc. Keep scaling up, and we saw that from her. And I think she put it in the right perspective, and she said this is probably a very important lesson for every CA student. At some point in time, everybody takes a hit. Everybody needs to have the tenacity to bounce back and hit back and ensure that you succeed. And she's done that very well. Let me also really appreciate the efforts of both the other speakers here. We've heard a very, very exceptionally good and detailed presentation from Ganga related to revenue recognition AS9, and you saw the she's I'm sure Reshma someday will stand as a teacher to many CA students and other professionals. She's really got that in her, and you should really continue your pursuit as a teacher, Reshma. So we have a very three extremely different presentation styles that we've seen, and I'm just a 12th man here. I just came to say hello to MPV this morning. My session was only scheduled this noon. I just thought I'll say hello to him and catch up on my friends during the inaugural session and leave. But then I was forced to sit back since MPV had a flight to catch, and I'm really glad that I did, so that I could also be a part of this session, listen to all of them, and a lot of learning for all of us. It's a good revision for me also every time I attend any such session, and I'm sure it's been useful for all of you. So continue to interact, get their contact details, and stay in touch with the speakers also. Sometimes some of these long-term relationships that work out during conferences last a lifetime. Trust me, I have some really close friends from all parts of the world whom I have met at random tea breaks and lunch breaks during such conferences. So I hope all of you continue to maintain your relationships much after the event has ended. I'll close with this and hand it back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request the session chairman, C. Vivek Krishna Govind, sir, to present the paper presenters with a memento. Palak Chera. A huge round of applause, please. Ganga P. Vijayan. Reshma Joy. Now I invite the Vice Chairman of SICASA, the Ernakulam branch, Krishna Govind, to present our session chairman, C.V.V. Krishna Govind, sir, with a memento. Now I invite our committee's editor, Rajat Santosh, to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected session chairman, C.V.V. Krishna Govind, the paper presenters, and all you students who have come here to listen to this session. Let me express our gratitude towards you for coming here today out of your busy schedules and finding time to attend us. Let me take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt gratitude to MP Vijay Kumar sir in his absentia for taking the time to come here, and even though he had to leave in between, he still managed to give us some beautiful insights regarding AS and INT-AS and IFRS. So thank you so much, sir. Next, my next gratitude goes to C.A. Vivek Krishna Govind sir. As he mentioned, he literally just went there to say hi to APV sir, and he gladly took up the role of being the session chairman for our technical session in accounting. So we cannot, it is invaluable for us that you took such a effort for us. So thank you so much, sir. Then our paper presenters for the day, the heroes of our day. First was Palak Chera, Miss Palak Chera. The second one was Miss Ganga P. Vijayan. And the third presenter was Miss Reshma Joy. Thank you so much for coming here from all around the world. You found the time and you did great job. You did exceptional jobs while you presented. Even though there were obstacles in between, like a true CA student, you bounced back up and delivered at its best. So thank you so much, paper presenters. And last but never the least, the essence of our conference, which is you, students, who came here to listen, and you were all patient enough to sit throughout the technical session, and we hope that you gain something of value from here today. So thank you so much. Now we'll disperse for lunch. We'll come back by 1:50. Thank you.
Everyone is requested to be back by 1:50.
Good afternoon, my dear students. After a good session in the morning, now we have a motivational speaker and inspiration to the young generation. He is actually from my wife's house near Iratipeta. If you hear his speech, we will become a IRS immediately. That's a way of motivation he gives to the youngsters. I welcome our today's motivator speaker, Jyotish sir, to address our young generation for getting into the IRS field itself. Welcome you, sir.
So, good afternoon to all. I think it's a post-lunch session. Participation is very less. And it's still a surprise that why people are occupying the last rows. Anyway, I don't take very long. I think I still remember the training academy, our IRS training academy in Nagpur. It's almost like this. We were a batch of 140. So always, as usual, quarrel will be there to occupy the last rows, especially in post-lunch sessions. But unfortunately, today there is no crowd, so I can easily point out, I may call you in between, so I'm really sorry. So don't worry about all these things. I think there are some non-Malayalis in this. So that's why otherwise, I'm a person who wrote the entire examination in Malayalam medium, and I'm first person to do so from Kerala. So from there, I think I'm here without any preparation. So they said that okay, the topic will be Independence 2.0 and all. So I know you all are young aspirants, want to be the dashing chartered accountants of India. I think these days means being an officer from income tax department, the kind of new changes that are happening in recent years, like the entire system is faceless, like the scrutiny assessment, even the appeal system, everything is faceless. So the regime is gradually changing, whatever said and done. Economy, kosha mulo dand. Economy is the backbone of a country. So here, you youngsters who should, actually I still remember around 20-25 years back, commerce was considered to be a lower stream. I think our parents in that generation, I still remember first group, second group, third group, fourth group. Commerce falls in the fourth group. So generally, those who are not getting the science stream or any other good courses, they only fall in commerce stream. Even I am a commerce graduate. I did my +2 as well as degree BCom from St. Thomas College, Pala. +2 was in Jawahar Navodaya. So entirely I was into commerce stream. But when I came to civil services, I cleared civil services examination with Malayalam and history as my optionals. I request authorities not to push people to come, because it's all about interaction. It should not be forced. Okay, I was just mentioning, I was just giving a comedy be very informal. So I'm here not as a speaker or as an officer. So it should be more of interactive, I feel. So it's like, it's 2:20. Let us continue up to 3 o'clock. So I will see in your mood. I will see the indications on your face. Accordingly, I will, wherever I feel like stopping, I will stop. Don't worry about that. Okay. So for that, don't keep yawning. After every minute. Okay. I will just try to convey something. If you are like interactive, then it will go like that. So if it continues like up to like 2:45, then we can go for a kind of discussion. You can ask anything. So if it is a point where I can contribute something, I will be contributing something. We will go like that. So consider me as a friend. Friend എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് നിങ്ങൾ എന്നെ കയറി അളിയാന്നൊന്നും വിളിച്ച് കളയരുത്. പക്ഷേ എന്നാൽ പോലും you can consider it like that. Okay, you take me as a very good friend. So even I'm not here to address or something, give some pearls. മുത്തുകൾ വാരി എറിയാനൊന്നും വന്നതല്ല. So it is again, I'm here like a student only. I was I started as assistant commissioner here, then I went as deputy commissioner in Mumbai. For last 5 years I was in Mumbai. This year on promotion as JC I came back. I am a person of 36 years. So like you people, okay, like there may be a difference of 10-15 years, but still I think many of you people might be knowing many things than me. So in that point of view, I'm not here to teach or I'm not here to preach. It's like, okay, kind of sharing. So let me come back to that. You aspirants, I think mostly you may be from commerce background only. I think recently there is a trend that even from science stream people are coming to means a chartered account to become chartered accountants and all. That is actually, I'm really proud to say that, okay, I'm a commerce stream, I am a commerce student, because once upon a time it was a kind of humiliation that, okay, I have taken commerce stream. In that generation it was like that. When we go for any function and all, there is relatives and neighbors, they used to ask, okay, what are you doing? So I'm so +2 or degree. Okay, which course? Commerce. Okay, commerce means hopeless. Okay, they used to give a kind of expression that, okay, it's the end of your life. Okay, nothing. Okay, poor chap, he can't get this science stream, and he is not going to become a doctor or engineer. But now it is not like that. I'm really happy to see that, because I done my graduation 2002-2005. That point of time, gradually there was a boom, kind of BBA, MBA, CA. Otherwise, the commerce stream was considered like a hopeless stream. Those who wish to, like, തൂമ്പ എടുത്ത് കളിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നവർക്ക് പറ്റിയതാണ് commerce and humanities. That kind of a belief was there. Later, so after my graduation, during my graduation, like MBA, BBA and all were very big things. Actually, my aspiration was BBA and MBA. But I'm from a poor agricultural family. Okay, by seeing me, you may not be feeling like from poor family. It's my body nature. Don't look from that view. വണ്ണം വെച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു പറഞ്ഞാൽ നിങ്ങൾ കുടുംബത്ത് കാശുള്ളതെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കരുത്. നമ്മൾ പഴങ്കഞ്ഞിയും ചക്കയും കഴിച്ച്. So I'm from such a background. So after commerce graduation, I was actually looking for BBA. Then I took some advice. So I got advice like Christ College, Bangalore. If you want to be in Kerala, at least you should be from Kuttikanam Marian College. I don't know anyone here from Kuttikanam Marian College. So those days Kuttikanam Marian College was something very big. I still remember with my mother I went there. Hearing the capitation fee, actually mother almost like, okay, she collapsed. So they were demanding 8 lakhs, and also it was almost like impossible. Then my father told me that, okay, let us pledge our agriculture land and we will take educational loan. Then I thought that, okay, why I should? Because all throughout my life, I had my education from different government institutions. So ഈ കാണുന്ന തടിയെല്ലാം സർക്കാരിൻ്റെയാണ്, നിങ്ങൾ കൈവയ്ക്കരുത്. So mostly मेरा खाना पीना सब from government only, because Navodaya was fully sponsored. Later I was a sports person, so my graduation time also it was sponsored by SAI. I was a weightlifter as well as power lifter. ഇപ്പോൾ കണ്ട ഒരു ലുക്കില്ലെന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ. I was once upon a time. So like I went like that. Then because of all these things, so because of this financial, like always I had the support of government. So I was thinking that, okay, I had some hesitation to take money or to give some sufferings to the parents in name of my higher education. In that thought, I decided that, okay, there was a coaching institute within my academy. Then I thought, okay, I will think of the civil service. Otherwise, there was no aspiration, there was no motive. The only motivation I had that, okay, Bharat Chandran IPS and Teverli Parambul Joseph Alex. Nothing except that, okay. Otherwise, there is no government officer from my family. My father is a farmer, mother, she was a social activist, she was Panchayat president and all. She was a postgraduate in political science at that time. Then she gradually turned to practical politics. Like it went like that. So then after graduation, I thought of civil service, first year, second year. Like I joined civil service preparation at the age of 20. So you might be thinking that, okay, why this fellow is giving all these things like about civil services and all. I just cleared, just before coming here, I was asking him that what I'm supposed to tell. Income tax? Then he said that, no. People are addressing only about income tax. So you can come and share something else than this income tax and economy, all these things. Then I thought that, okay, being young aspirants, I thought that, okay, I will share my experiences when I was coming to this career. I'm sharing this because nowadays, when I give this, it's not motivational talk and all, it's kind of talk, that is it. I'm not a motivational speaker. Myself, I am lacking motivation. Then where from I will give motivation to you? Because every day, fine morning, I used to think that, okay, now I have to reduce my weight. I'm lacking motivation myself. So you people will be thinking that, okay, this fellow who can't even reduce his weight, how he can motivate us to be, in that sense, I don't have the confidence to say that I am a motivational speaker. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm just, that's why I told you that, okay, completely informal and I'm here just to share. So I'm coming back to the point. So this first year, second year and all, just after the graduation. So there may be a question. So we will be going for an interactive session, but definitely there will be a question in your mind that after your commerce graduation, why did you take this history and Malayalam literature as your optionals? Because after graduation, I realized one thing. It's like studying in English medium school. The students who come from normal English medium schools always have a plight that, okay, they doesn't know even Malayalam, doesn't know even English. So I can realize that, okay, it's because I am also from an English medium school. That's why I decided to give the exam in Malayalam. That is actually a strategy to decide so. So this shift from commerce to history and Malayalam literature, or to give civil service examination with the different optionals, was a strategy. I am sharing this here because now being an IRS officer, or when I go for such sharing with students, their parents used to ask me, okay, you are a person who realized the importance of commerce very early stage and you decided to be in that stream even after the 10th class. Okay, then I could have told that, okay, means my parents were so like, my mother always used to ask me that, okay, you should go for commerce stream only. Ammachi anne parayayirunnu mone commerce padikkanullu. But the reality is that, guys, I got only 59% in my 10th class. Science in the I actually ended up in commerce stream. It was not my choice. So it was actually because in my school only two options were there, commerce and science. So being the last, because the entire school was actually looking for 100% first class, but unfortunately I was the only person who scored 59% and ended up with second class. So because of me, my school lost 100%. Okay, you might be thinking that, okay, it's so proud. So I'm saying that, okay, this was the tragedy I met at that 10th standard. So now people may ask me that, okay, you realize the importance of commerce, but it was actually an accident. It was not by choice. It was an accident. And I still remember 11th class, I failed in accountancy. And then again, I have to, now you may be thinking, that why these fellows called this Jyotish Mohan, who failed in accountancy, and saying that, okay, even 11th standard, he failed in accountancy and coming here and speaking in front of all of us. So 11th standard, it went like that, and 12th standard, there I had a spark and I decided to shift. Then I realized, so I think at that age and all, we don't have that kind of aspiration or that kind of, okay, what should be the future? I still remember from 6th standard onwards, I always used to hear, what is your ambition? Still remember, Up to 5th class in my village, I have studied in my Malayalam medium school. After reaching this Navodaya school, suddenly there was a shift from Malayalam medium to CBSE English medium. So I think you might have heard about this Navodaya school system. This is entirely funded by the central government. 5th standard, we were actually supposed to give a kind of entrance exam. I think anyone Navodayan here? Anyone from? Every crowd, wherever I go, till date, I will get one person at least as a Navodayan. But I have to share here, being a Navodayan means it is a something, it's a different feeling. Which Navodaya you are from? Pardon? Kollam Navodaya. Okay. I got some friends who migrated from Kollam Navodaya to Kottayam. I studied in Kottayam Navodaya, being a person from Kottayam district. For others' knowledge, Navodaya is one Navodaya per district. That is the concept. Otherwise, entirely means it's a kind of residential system. Twice in a year, we can go to home. Once in a month, our parents can come and visit us for 2 hours. So it's almost like a jail. So Navodayan experiences, it will take actually weeks to explain. That is a different experience altogether. I may be writing it as a book, so later you can expect that. But now, at present, we don't have enough time to share the experiences of Navodaya. But anyway, Navodayan, I don't know what opinion you have, but generally I have seen that, okay, you have some good opinion or bad opinion about Navodaya. So I don't know what is your opinion about Navodaya. But Navodaya is altogether, in my life, whatever I am, after my parents, I'm really thankful for the environment and the kind of molding they have done on me, means the kind of means nurturing. That actually there may be many negatives in the school, but I have seen that actually in life we should experience negatives as well. Negatives only will actually teach us the realities of our life. So what all struggle, what all negatives I had in my school timing, in my Navodaya, that helped me to come up in my, means when I came to the civil service and all. Actually that challenging decision that I took to give this civil service, sorry, let me silence my phone. Thank you. So, when I came to this, I was just sharing the kind of why I shifted from commerce to this, and why I was into commerce stream. So it was an accident. So the school and other experiences in 11th standard, I failed, and in 12th standard, there only I decided that, okay, now I should concentrate. I think, I don't know, I was just telling about ambition from my a poor village school. When I came here in 6th standard, when class teacher, when we all were put into 6th standard, and the class, so-called class teacher came and asked, what is your ambition? So I was actually unaware the meaning of this word ambition. So I was like on second last row, I remember. Then one by one, all were like standing up and saying that, okay, advocate, doctor, teacher. Then the person who was sitting right next to me, he stood up and said that, okay, I want to be a scientist. Then I also told that, okay, I want to become a scientist. So this was the first answer I gave to this question, what is your ambition? I want to become a scientist. ഇന്നും അന്ന് സയൻറ്റിസ്റ്റ് എന്താണെന്നുള്ളത് എനിക്ക് അറിഞ്ഞുകൂടാ. This was the first answer I gave for that question. Thereafter in my 10th standard, 12th standard, everywhere I heard the same question, what is your ambition? What do you want to be? I don't know. Up to 12th standard, I never had any kind of direction where I should go. And I never had the feeling that, okay, I should learn something or I should have some bright future. I never had that kind of thinking, be frank. But now I don't know, as young aspirants who are sitting in front of me, I think, I hope you all are focused, because the generation is different. Nowadays, from 6th standard onwards, IIT coaching, entrance coaching, IAS coaching, all kind of coaching starts at the age of 10, even before 10. I don't know how these parents are I don't know. Anyway, fortunately, my parents were unaware about all these things. That was the first and foremost freedom I got in my life. If you ask what is the most thankful thing that in your life, this is the most thankful thing in my life, that my parents were unaware about all the future courses and all the kind of so-called this creamy career that is these days. Okay, even I want to ask you, what actually career means? What do you mean? Okay, എന്താണ് means what do you mean by, okay, I think, okay, generally we say that, okay, everywhere, even in 3 Idiots film, the message that we got that, okay, we should follow our passion. Is it possible? How extent it is possible that, okay, we can follow our passion and we can end up in a good career? Whether it is singing, whether it is acting, whether it is drawing, or whether it is film. Okay, one Nivin Poli from engineering background came and became hero in 2-3 films and he became successful. You know how many people came to film industry from engineering background? And successful is 1 or 2. Cricket. How many people came from means a different background or from different other choices came to the cricket, the game called the cricket, or football, or any okay, being in India, cricket is the only that game which is promoted by all brands. All else people, PR Srijesh is a very good friend of mine, poor fellow. This is the first time he got some recognition. He is into this hockey career for last so many years. But this time, since Indian team won silver, bronze medal, that is the only reason why he was actually received from the runway itself. He used to share that, okay, in earlier Olympics, he was even after landing into, sometimes he came even by railways. And there was no one to receive. There was no one to recognize. Even sometimes parents also may not be. Okay, so like here, after getting a recognition in so-called that, we may come successful. But you know that, okay, following our passion and becoming successful, I think it's a risk. Okay, of course, Yesudas, Sachin Tendulkar, so many examples are there. But I don't know how many of us can be Sachin Tendulkar and Yesudas. It's, of course, when we think of career, I think money, recognition, and some sense of kind of, ഇതെന്താണ് മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞ പണം, പ്രശസ്തി, പദവി. പ്രശസ്തി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ recognition. These days actually we people are showing all these kind of things. Everything is for recognition only. അല്ലേ? We are dressing up, we are doing something good, all for recognition only. Okay, we generally we may say that, okay, I don't like recognition and all. I am very like, okay, from heart I am so and so. I don't want others to recognize me. And whatever you do, you take selfie and post it in the Facebook and Instagram. And I don't want to be that. Okay, I don't want to get recognized. I don't know. Means I think, in my feeling, you may have difference of opinion with me, but my feeling is that, okay, humans have the tendency of getting recognized. After doing something, overhearing someone saying that, okay, he's a great person. That's a great feeling, of course. I feel so. You may agree, may not agree. നമ്മൾ കുട്ടിയായിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ തൊട്ടേ മിടുക്കനാണ് മിടുക്കിയാന്ന് കേൾക്കാൻ, അതിനു വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഇതെല്ലാം, അല്ലേ? ആഫ്റ്റർ ഓൾ, അതർവൈസ് ഐ തിങ്ക് ബേസിക് തിങ്സിന് ഒന്നും നമുക്ക് വേണ്ട. We are doing some extraordinary things, extra steps we are taking to get recognized, at least by the family members. Okay, you don't take it lightly that, okay, recognition by family members. First, we should get recognized by the family members, then the immediate society, then by the great society. It should not be reversed. Some people are like that. They go for the greater things, but basic recognition from the family members they may not be having. So always, I think that should be the pattern. So that recognition, basic minimum money, this should be the base of career which you are aspiring for. And there should be a balance. If money is the only motive, smuggling is the best option. If money is the only motive. So if you are a smuggler, then what is your recognition? You know that. So if you want to be recognized and you want to be a proper recognized citizen of a society, then there should be a balance. Of course, I have means, okay, again I told you that, okay, it was an accident. Again, civil service was also an accident. There was no aspiration, no direction for me to become a civil servant. After graduation, because of something or something other, I decided to go for civil service. First and second attempt, I failed in preliminary itself. Third attempt, I cleared preliminary, then I thought of mains examination. Then I heard there is something called mains examination. Then I started preparing and I failed in mains examination. When I started my civil service aspiration, I was just 20-year-old. I went to a small academy within St. Thomas College campus, Pala. I've seen that okay, many aspirants are 28, 29, 30. Then I started feeling myself that okay, I'm a kid. But year after year, failure after failure, I realized one thing, I am getting older. So after my third failure, I was like 23. In between, I got some job as an LD clerk in a panchayat, and I started my job as an LD clerk in a panchayat. Then, of course, in life, the best inspiration is humiliation. I think that is a dialogue in a Malayalam film. Insult ആണ് മോനെ ഏറ്റവും ബെസ്റ്റ് ഇൻസ്പിറേഷൻ എന്നുള്ള ഇതുണ്ട്. ഹ്യൂമിലിയേഷൻ ആൻഡ് ഇൻസൾട്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ യു ഷുഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ മാതാപിതാ ഗുരു ദൈവം means you should thank your relatives and your neighbors who scratch you. ചൊറിയുന്ന ആൾക്കാരില്ലേ, you should thank them. Because of them only you always think of means keeping 2 steps ahead than your normal steps. They of course motivate you to move faster, to aspire something big. So don't allow anyone to certify you as a fool or stupid. ഒരുത്തിനെ കൊള്ളരുതാത്തവനോ കൊള്ളരുതാണോ എന്ന് മറ്റുള്ള ആൾക്കാരല്ല സർട്ടിഫൈ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് യു ആൻഡ് യു ഓൺലി. No motivational speaker, no teacher, no mentor can certify you as an excellent person or as a fool. It is you and you only. You decide where you want to be, how you want to get recognized by the society. It's up to you. You decide. And the best motivational speaker who can motivate you is none other than you yourself. You just start observing yourself, a kind of self-examination, self-evaluation. First of all, you should recognize your own weaknesses, which is very difficult. Always we go for our positives. Looking into the mirror, you see yourself as a Shah Rukh Khan or Tovino Thomas. But the reality is something different. That only the public knows what is the reality. So here, the self-criticism, self-evaluation is a very difficult thing because Kakakin Tankunju Ponkunju Varnadole, myself, I may be big hero, but for the public, what you are. So there the weaknesses, like, for example, when you aspire for a career, I want to start from the first point. I told you that there should be a balance. Wherever you go, means whichever the stream you select, the basic life skills that you are actually supposed to have are same. Basic writing skill, speaking skill, some leadership abilities. That much if you have, you can go and win in any stream. And another thing I should say that, okay, life is only once. I don't know, means different religion and different spirituality says many things about the life. We have different janmas, that this, I don't know. My belief is that only one janma, one life. In this life, if you and me want to something, we can, okay, it's up to, again, whether it is passion, it is my thinking, my desire, my decision, whatever it is. I feel that, okay, we should leave a signature before we leave the earth. Otherwise, the God who has sent us might be asking a question when we return back to heaven, hell, wherever it is. Why did you go? എന്തിനാ പോയെ? വെറുതെ ഉണ്ണാനും ഉറങ്ങാനും ഉണ്ണിയെ ജനിപ്പിക്കാനും മാത്രമാണ് അങ്ങോട്ട് പോയത് എന്ന് പറയേണ്ട ഗതികേടുണ്ടാവാതിരിക്കുക. So there should, a self-actualization should be there. That I have done something, my life was for something, and that I have done, whatever it is. For ourselves, there means it's up to you. It differs from person to person. You can't compare yourself with the other person. His background, his nature, his physique, his entire things. God has created each person unique And definitely one thing for sure, whatever handicaps you have, definitely God has even something positive with us. So with that, sharpen the positivities that we got. And with that, those who people standing there to certify us as a fool, you make with your challenges, with your doings, you make themselves, you make them say that, okay, you are an excellent person. The same person who has criticized you as a fool or stupid, that is the best revenge you can take in your life, that the same person who has criticized you is coming and praising you. Even, I mean, the praising means, even if they are praising in hurt, they may be having a different feeling. That is the best revenge that you can take with a person who is having a different feeling for you and who is praising in front of all other, because he doesn't have any other option. Because with your achievement, you made that person say that, okay, you are an excellent person or personality. So that is the best thing that you can achieve in your life. So whatever stream you select. So in my opinion, our life, the decision we should take, the decision should come before the age of 30. After the age of 30, we will stuck up into a particular track where we are forced. Whatever you want to become, whatever the platform you want to reach, you reach before the age of 30. I call it in their life, mostly in intensive care unit. When you are about to go, when your visa is ready and about to go, there you will get a spark, or I should have done many things, I shouldn't have done many things. But thereafter, you don't have any life left to change the things that you have done, or to correct your mistakes that you have done in your life, or to correct or to bring back the opportunities that you have lost or you have given up in your life. So that spark should come at a real age, at least before the age of 30. At the age of 70, if you get that spark, with that spark you will go. That is the end of your life. So before the age of 30, if you get that proper spark and you get that realization that I should do something and I should make, okay, what is the means? At least I'm standing here and addressing you. I'm really grateful to, I'm really thankful to ICAI chapter Ernakulam or the ICAI entire India and Kerala to give me an opportunity here. And I'm really thankful to God and my parents that, okay, in my life, at least I could do this. I could come here, stand here and address you people. This, at least I count this as my achievement. Definitely today when I am sleeping, definitely I will get a good feeling that, okay, today I could address that special crowd, special youngsters who are really aspiring something for something good in their life. I could address them. This is the blessing I got in my life. So this happened because a spark that happened in my life when I was studying in my 12th standard. So sharing that incident, I will stop this monologue, then we can go for dialogues. So means in 12th standard, okay, I was just mentioning about my past history, that okay, I was a failed student in my 11th standard and I wrote the എന്താണ് മണ്ടം പരീക്ഷ എന്നൊക്കെ മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയും. സോ റീടെസ്റ്റ്, I gave my retest and at last they allowed me to continue in that school. 12th standard, I have done all mistakes I can do in my life at very early stage. That is another good thing that happened to me. എല്ലാ പൊട്ടത്തരവും ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ തന്നെ ചെയ്തു ലൈഫിൽ. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഡിഗ്രിക്കൊക്കെ വന്നപ്പോൾ ഇൻ ഗ്രാജുവേഷൻ ആൻഡ് ഡ്യൂറിങ് ഗ്രാജുവേഷൻ ആൻഡ് ഓൾ ഇതൊക്കെ എന്ത് എന്നുള്ളൊരു ഫീലിംഗ് ആയിരുന്നു. ബിക്കോസ് in 11th standard onwards, I was like, okay, I was like a rowdy in that school. And I was a last bencher and my hobby was to name the teachers and the so-called bujis of first rows. That was my main hobby. And my score was like, here in my village school, only 3 examinations in an year. Before Onam, before Christmas and the annual examination. There, after reaching the Navodaya school, I realized that there is every month one Onam is there. Every month unit test examination. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ആചാരം ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായിട്ട് കേൾക്കുകയാണ്. സോ ആഫ്റ്റർ എവറി ടെസ്റ്റ് വി ആർ സപ്പോസ് ടു, ഓക്കെ, വി വിൽ ഗെറ്റ് ദ സ്കോർ കാർഡ്സ് And on a postcard, we have to write, okay, each subject and the score and the postal address of our house and give back to the class teacher. I have given many other addresses which I am sure that it is not my house address. I have given many addresses, I don't know where. But anyway, every month parents will come to visit us. Then 2 hours is the allowed time. For my parents, 1.5 hour special treatment is there at staff room. So this was my plight up to 11th standard. In 12th standard, what happened? Okay, there is a small incident. This is the spark I got. That's how I connected myself with the commerce stream, because this happened in economic class, economics class. Okay, so in Navodaya, generally there used to, it is central government, there is a Samiti, Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti, and there people come for inspection. That year, inspection is planned, so suddenly wherever schools, wherever inspections are expected, you know what used to happen. Class teacher will run to the school, and immediately the monitors and so-called leaders will be instructed to keep everything clean and your notebooks should be clean. And suddenly all the wall where there is no paint or some holes are there, then chart papers will be given. So write health is wealth and paste on that the places where there is no polish and paint. So this is the normal custom. In every school it happens. So here also and when these people come for inspection, they ask question, and the immediate row, these bujis used to answer. Mumbai irikkunna bujigal answer parayum. We people start nicknaming them with whatever they have done. So this is the normal custom. So last year what happened, these people came and checked the notebooks of last row people like me. And so whatever mistakes we do, the scoldings will go to the teachers. That is the best part that we like about the inspection. The inspectors, they never scold us. ഈ വഴക്കെല്ലാം ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനെ പോകത്തുള്ളൂ. So last year what happened, these people came and all this happened, and teachers got a very high level scolding. And this year teachers changed the strategy. They took the bujis means intellectuals, the so-called the answering machines of first rows and second rows, and the teachers decided to make them 2 groups. One group was kept in front rows and one group was kept on the last rows. People like me were taken and were hidden in some places and told that, okay, keep silent and be here. So morning onwards, okay, we are like, palpitation is very high. When is the inspection is going to happen? Inspection, any lottery may come. Question may come to us. They may come and ask for our notebook. Any kind of lottery can be expected. So, of course, palpitation is very high. So, first hour, second hour, it went like that. Okay, it's not coming to our class because the whole school is that inspection is going on in the whole school. So, here we were expecting like first, second, it went like then fourth period, it was economics class. During economics class, our economics teacher, this Palani Velu sir, he was my economics teacher. So, we were discussing like inflation was the topic we were discussing in that class. Means inflation was the topic we discussed in the last class, and this class, the opposite condition, deflation. He wrote deflation, and he had a habit of revising the last class portion. So he was just revising inflation and related things. And suddenly this person, one Janardhan Reddy, he's a member of the Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti, he came to the class. And he just, we all stood up, wished. So he just looked at the blackboard, then he saw that, okay, this inflation and details is written there, because revision was going on for the last class topic. Then he immediately asked, what you mean by inflation? So this Padanivel sir took 2 steps back, and he just signed one student. His name is Bibin. So he is the so-called padipist of the class. So he stood up and he said, that's a price rise. Then this Reddy sir said, okay, you are right, it's price rise. But inflation is an economic phenomenon. I wish to hear the clear definition for the phenomenon inflation. So immediately the entire class, there was pin drop silence like this, like, because the Bibin already means failed in answering the question. That means beyond Bibin, no one. So that is all are like with the bowed head. We completely surrendered before you, sir. That was the kind of expression. Immediately I stood up. Then the entire class broke to a laughter that the entire students are laughing because whenever I stand, I used to stand to share some. So teacher knows that. Okay, immediately Palanivelu sir, okay, he was getting heart attack and his expression totally changed. So he was telling me to sit. So he thought that okay, this naughty fellow is going to stand and tell something which is going to spoil everything. So that was his. Of course, I told you that okay, I was a forbidden child of that school, means at least that class. So. Teacher was expecting something negative. I stood up. So, and especially you know that, okay, in 11th class and all, that is our golden age, 15, 16-year-old. So in those classes or at those age, sitting at back bench and cracking some negative jokes and looking at our girls, whether they are laughing or not. If they are laughing, means on that day we can, with a lot of relief, we can sleep. That is the kind of feeling. If you don't have that feeling, you should consult a doctor. At that age, if you don't have that feeling, you should consult a doctor. That's my opinion. Anyway, I had that feeling at that time. Of course, this teacher know that, okay, എന്തെങ്കിലും ചളി പറഞ്ഞ് എന്നിട്ട് ക്ലാസ്സിൽ ആളാവാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഇവനെ എണീറ്റതെന്ന് സാറിന് മനസ്സിലായി. I stood up and I started answering like, sir, inflation means continuous price in a market. Price is decided by the inversely proportional forces of demand and supply. Indian government faced this condition in 70s and 90s, and RBI used to hike SLR, repo rate, reverse repo rate, that this. So, like, immediately the entire class was into silence. I was telling something, blah, blah, blah. Immediately I finished. Then this Reddy sir said, excellent answer, Palani. Good, your students are very good. So then he went out of the class. Then this Palani sir came and okay, he was just thinking whether it is a reality or illusion. So that was the kind of expression he was giving. Then he came to me and he asked me to stand up. And then he started praising me in the entire class. So this was for the first time I realized that okay, one teacher can tell such kind of things about me. So that was the first experience of a praising I got from a teacher. So that was a different experience altogether. So this was the real spark I got in my life. So now you might be thinking, how come this fellow answered that question? That is a twist. So, of course, with my behavior, whatever I explained, definitely I could not have learned the answer for that question. So, now the question is that how this fellow answered that question. The reality is that there is another teacher called Kurup, English teacher. So, in my dreams, the villains I get are math teachers and this English teachers. And Kurupu sir is one among them. I don't know what about your feeling. Generally, maths and English, both are like, means I think these are the two hated subjects generally. I don't know. So many people have means liking for maths and English as well. But generally, I have seen this maths and English are the two most common hated subjects that generally students have. I don't know about you, but generally, if you ask why, I have found that one solution, one answer for that, because maths is a discipline subject. Because 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. 3.75 or 4.25 can't fetch even 0.1 percentage mark. It is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. A plus B whole square is equal to A square plus 2AB plus B square. It is fixed. But if some question comes about Ashoka, then you can write anything. Even your father, you can think as Ashoka and you can start writing about your what all know about. He built something, he loved his wife and he constructed this and these things and he ruled and reigned and he done many things. Okay, hunting, Even by seeing films, you can write something. That is the beauty of humanities subjects. But maths is a discipline subject. Those who basically humans are indisciplined. We are actually disciplined because of the cultural barriers or the cultural caging that we actually got into. Otherwise, we are indisciplined. Basically, we like to be indisciplined. 10 മണി വരെ കിടന്നുറങ്ങിക്കോളാൻ പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇതിലും പല സുഖം വേറെ ഉണ്ടോ? But we are like, go to school or office, have to get up at 7:30, tummy is getting very bad. So morning walk, morning running. So actually we don't like all these things. Actually we all like to be pythons. But because of all this ambition, that other things, that whatever I am preaching before you, because of all these things, we created a kind of frame or cage that we put ourselves into, and because of that we are into these cultural barriers, and because of that we created ourselves a kind of discipline that the entire society agreed for. Even the rules and regulations, justice, law, whatever it is created by us for ourselves. These are the cultural barriers that we put for ourselves. Otherwise we are indisciplined. So basically I feel we are indisciplined. Okay. Anyway, this English teacher, every period he starts with a custom that, okay, each student should come and give 2 minutes speech on any one subject. That is his condition. Before every hour of Kurupusar, one person should come and give a speech on a topic. So there is a list prepared. Each person should give a speech. So it happened 2-3 weeks back. On that fine morning, when I entered the class, my friends reminded that, okay, today you have to give a speech. Then I went to the list and I saw that, okay, today I am the person who has to go for. It's like, നമ്മുടെ ഇതിൽ ഒരു കഥയുണ്ട്, ഭീമൻ രാക്ഷസനെ പോയി വിഴുങ്ങാൻ നിന്ന് കൊടുക്കണം എൻ്റെ ഒരു കഥ. It was something like that. Before Kurupu sir, it was I always had a feeling that, okay, before Rakshasa I should go and surrender myself. That was the feeling I always used to have. So anyway, I saw that, okay, second period is English. So first period I was just going through my notebook, and all the notebook I saw that it is Tare Seminbar, nothing is there. Most of our ECG graph, it is going like that. Okay, most of the notes are like that. So I saw that, but this economics teacher was something, I had some affection for this economics teacher, and because of that affection, and for him, I used to write something properly on his notebook. It's not for me, it's for Palanivelu sir, the kind of affection that had. So in that economics notebook, I saw the earlier classes topic like inflation and the nearby things. So inflation was the discussion for last 2-3 classes. We can say inflation, how it happens, what is SLR, what is repo rate, what is reverse repo rate, all these things. So I just read about all these things. I don't know what I'm reading, but you know that, okay, just the day before the examination, there you get the superpowers. You become Superman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Batman, whatever you are, just one day before the examination. There you start thinking that, okay, if something happens in my school, oh my Lord, okay, any terrorist come and bomb my school, then I will get 1 more week, then I score 100%. These are the kind of thinking we get one day before the examination. Okay, you may be thinking that, okay, okay, like you may be feeling like I am your twin. Okay, some people are getting, because the people who are laughing, I know that, okay, you also had the same feeling before the examination, at least. There we get the Superman, not means exaggerating. Even the examination hall, the kind of power that your brain got, even Balarama and Pumbata will come to save you to find the answer. So that's the kind of superpower that you get in the examination hall, the kind of thinking you get in the same superpower I got in that 1 hour, because Kurupus has beatings. His another customs are like, he used to give nice beatings and he will check out of the class. When we stand outside, the principal will come. He will ask why you are standing here, just to get some breeze. Then he will say that, okay, we will call your father also to get some breeze. So this will be the aftermath of what means. So by thinking all these things, within that 1 hour, whatever I read, I by-hearted everything, because superpower. So then Kurupasar came. Okay, I stood up. By seeing me, Kurupu sir thought that, okay, today got a nice victim. But anyway, I went. അന്നും തൊലിക്കട്ടിക്ക് ഉറങ്ങൊന്നുമില്ലായിരുന്നു. I had the guts to stand up and say something before everyone. That was the only quality. I told you, God might have given any USP for each and every individual. So I had this blessing of always having that guts to stand up and say something in front of people. I never had that stage fright. Thanks to my parents who gave me nice opportunities at my early stage in my childhood to stand up on stages, and even weightlifting and all. It's very difficult to lift weight in front of hundreds of people. If you can't balance the weight, okay, by seeing the people itself, you losing the balance, and you are holding 150 200 kg and balancing in front of people. It's very difficult. So thank to those days I had all my experiences. So because of that, today I'm standing in front of you. Those school days, anyway, I had that guts. I started preaching in inflation. Today I'm, okay, respected sir, dear friends, today I'm going to share a few words on the topic inflation, blah, 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 blah. Then Kurupu sir realized that, okay, Kurupu sir is a very great English teacher, but he doesn't have much of idea about economics. Okay. So then he realized that, okay, this fellow is blabbering something in English. Then at last, okay, he realized, okay, he said something in English and spared me. Because all the technical words we are using in economics, especially inflation and all, there is no game of is, was, past participle and past present tense, that is all grammar and all. So whatever I blabbered, okay, he realized that something he spoke in English, then he spared me. That thing I remembered. Then when this Reddy sir was asking this question, I realized one thing, he is asking the same thing. I stood up and started answering that. So that is why actually I became a hero on that day. He praised me like anything. And the actual inspiration I got that because thereafter I started reading all the notes that given in economics class. I became a very student, but still I sat on the last row only. So the next day onwards in economics classes, start getting answer from the last row. It became a habit. But the main inspiration I got that was front bench girls started used to come to me for clearing doubts. That was the real inspiration that I got. Thereafter I started researching in economics. So I became top scorer in economics. Then other teachers started discussing about me. Okay, this fellow is getting top score, very high score in economics, and do you have any problem with us? And I thought that, okay, poor teachers. So the other teachers also have feelings, so I should address them also. In that sense, I started. Thereafter, I started getting doubts from different subjects. So again, inspiration. Then in 12th standard, I scored 88%. From 59 in 10th, I scored 88% in my 12th standard. And I got a merit seat in St. Thomas College, Pala. So this is the way I came to. So this was the real spark I got in my life. There I realized that a small inspiration, a small good word, a small patting, or a small hug can change our life. So this was the inspiration or the change in my thought. Therefrom I realized that, okay, the giving some foolish jokes and seeing the laughter of girls is not the ultimate destination. Okay, I'm not saying that, okay, you should not do that. But sometimes I still remember one teacher told me at 11th standard, you are always playing like a joker and you will remain as a joker throughout your life. But those who are laughing at you by seeing your jokes, they will move forward. But you will always be a joker. Like a joker or a clown in a circus, they are there as a clown or joker for their entire life. So people like me and you who watch them and enjoy and laugh for some time on their jokes and whatever stupid things they do. So don't be like a joker for some small things or foolish things which can fetch you some laughter or some praise. Don't give up or don't lose your ultimate dream of any destination for that small pleasures. So that's another small thing I want to share with you, that, okay, small things. I'm not saying that, okay, you should not enjoy, because those things you should enjoy at this age, you should enjoy. At the age of 70, you can't. At the age of 70, if you start doing that things you are supposed to do at the age of 17, then you will be taken to mental asylum, of course. So I'm not saying that you should not do the things that you are supposed to do at this age of 17 or 20. Pleasures and enjoyment should be there in life, because life is, after all, it's a relative thing. We don't know where that will take us. But always have a good faith. Always have a good thinking about your life. So again, I want to end up this talk with that point. Always keep in mind you should leave a signature. You should do something in your life. At least a self-actualization should be there in your life that I have done something. Otherwise, after some time, this name, your face and all will not be remembered. For some time, 1 or 2 weeks, your family may remember you. Once you died, I'm saying that family may remember you. They may cry for you, 1 or 2 people. Thereafter, they may keep your photo. Later, after 5-10 years, your next generation may think that, okay, this photo is not good enough. That will be thrown out. Then, well, Nayanthara or some Samantha's photo will replace your photo. That is the end of your life or your evidence in this earth. So leave some signature, or at least yourself you should feel that I have done something with my life that I got. വെറുതെ ഇങ്ങനെ ഇത് മാത്രമായിട്ട് പോവാതെ something should happen in your life. For that, you should think you should have that platform before the age of 30. For that, you strive. You self-evaluate or self-check yourself wherever, what all weaknesses you have, and wherever you want to improve, what all USP you got, you sharpen that USP. Take that USP that you have, that is your main weapon. And all the weaknesses that you have to cover with that main weapon that you have. Of course, this is a battle, and this is a battlefield, and you should win, no other option. Only victorious people, all the successful people will be a part of history. That is a reality, whatever said and done. Whether you want to get recognized or not, that is a reality, that once you are successful, then only you are going to be a part of the history. So I wish that all you people should be, all who are here should be a part of history. So you all get into such a platform where from you can launch yourself to the maximum. Sky should be the limit. And with this, I again, with thanking this nice opportunity given by the ICAI and the entire India. I think this is the All India conference which is going on. It's nicely organized, well organized. I really appreciate all the organizers of this program and the people who invited me. Actually, Ranjit Warrior invited me. Then my friend who is also from, got some connection with my native. I'm basically from Punyar of Kottayam district. So he got some connection with my native. So anyway, I feel that okay, each opportunity is something like a opportunity to mingle with someone, seeing someone. It is because in my heart, I think after all the great achievement that we can have in our life is that to gel with the maximum possible people in our entire life. How many people you can gel with? This earth is having around 700 crore population or even more. 700 crore. How many people you have seen? Okay, at least you think when you travel, you just see the people who are standing or sitting or doing something throughout your travel. How many people do you know in your life? So, to know people, to, okay, അറിയുക, മറ്റുള്ളവരാൽ അറിയപ്പെടുക. അതാണ് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്ന ഫൈനൽ അച്ചീവ്മെന്റ് അതായിരിക്കും. So you should do that. You should be in such a position. By God's grace, a person who is from a small village called Peringalam, Kottayam, I got, by God's blessings, I got an opportunity to visit USA, Australia, and all through the India during Bharat Darshan, and to work in different places like within Kerala, like Thrissur, now in Ernakulam, outside Mumbai 5 years, and I've visited all through, means all the places, almost all places in India. And I got my batchmates and very close friends all over India or even outside India. So wherever I go, I got some resources for me and my friends and my relatives. So this is the best thing that we can do in our life. If somebody wants some help, you should have the resources for you. If you yourself are cribbing for some help for others, then how you can help others? Okay, of course, I'm not saying that, okay, each person, whatever he do, definitely say there is some dignity for whatever, whether it is coconut plucker, whether it is a driver, whether it is a whatever it is. എല്ലാ ജോലിക്കും അതിൻ്റെതായ dignity. I'm not saying that. But we should have some resources for others, for the next generation or the nearby relatives or friends to come up. You should have that resources. For that, you should reach to that platform. For that, you should have that spark we were discussing well before the age of 30, I feel. So, I wish that, okay, God bless you all, and all come with flying colors and very good career, and to be a part of the history. And once again, thanks for the patient hearing, and thanks for the nice opportunity that was given. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those enlightening words and making us all feel comfortable with your relatable experiences. Now I invite Salim sir for his address.
Thank you so much for the wonderful motivational speech. Actually, as a Toastmasters, we have a table topic session that is only for 2 minutes, but from your table topic, we learn a lot of things. I would like to share that also. When there is lot of resources, we may have a lot of options. If there is less resources, we will use the resources very carefully and efficiently. In Olympic, only one gold medal will given from 775 crores people to each event. I hope from this small crowd, there will be IAS, IPS, and IRS from your motivational speech. And also from your speech, I got one, this thing is, the enemy teaches lot of lessons, and negativity teaches us lot of positiveness. And another secret is, at least respected Jyothi sir got 56% in 10th standard. I got only 52%. So always I tell to my students, study is the, what we call bridge to reach one places. But how you are going to explore your self-confidence through these conferences, that will lead your life. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session, and we learned a lot of things. I would like to invite our past chairman and my best friend and motivator, Govind sir, to give a memento to Jyothi sir. Please.